of a few tracks.
Fun.
So we can flip over and look at stuff as it comes up. I don't actually know where in the game any of the ones that I picked are.
That's okay. I don't know if I'll know right away either.
We'll find out. But
All
if I hear
right.
one that I recognize, we
We
can
are
look
live
at it.
team, and first of all, I want to give a big, huge welcome to Karina Pardus, who's very generously hanging out with us for 2 hours this evening, joining us to chat about Stellar Blade at her request. And I'm really excited because I've wanted an excuse to buy it, and now I have had one, and I own it. Of course, we're gonna play. So pumped about getting a new game out of the stream. But let me load all of that up, get people situated. Speaking of which, Karina, if you check your roles on that Discord server now, you should be a purple tagged person with access to the voice channel where we are all sitting now.
Yeah, so it's Ludomusicology. Yeah, there you go.
And you will want to mute and deafen yourself in Discord because I'm going to share the game there. And we are all behind the scenes on MS Teams so that I can separate the game share from the conversation for production purposes on my end.
Perfect. Do I turn on my camera in it?
No, you don't. You're good on Teams.
Okay.
And there is probably a smarter way to do this, but this works and is reliable, and therefore we have done it.
When you have a system that works well, that should be
right.
A great
Every
thing.
time we try to merge the game share and all the conversation onto one platform, and a couple of years ago, that platform was Skype. We've tried other solutions as well. We found that the game's volume would duck under our speech, which is not what we want.
Yeah,
So
we're the one stream
fighting
where
it.
we want both, right? Like we want granular control over, we talk over it, but we also want to like step back and listen to stuff. So
it's kind of crucial to what we do.
So I saw that this game is like spacey, like sci-fi. Kind of. There's a space element.
We'll see. We're loading it now.
And so the drink I made for stream tonight is a Saturn, which I put it in my cool like retro star glassware. It's the one tiki cocktail that uses gin as the base spirit instead of rum. And it has like passion fruit and it's delicious. So.
That sounds delicious. I have my water. It says created to do good.
Nice.
Fine
and
plan.
Also make the music business more human.
Yes.
Nice.
Because we need that.
Okay, Stellar Blade is live. Let me share it on Discord first to all of you on the call. That's now happening. And then let's, if you all gesture to the right for me, swoosh, we'll go that way. There you go. And we'll scoot into our corner. I'll add the game to the stream. Get rid of that trailing double mouse cursor that always happens when you do this in XSplit and OBS. A lecture I've now given 11 times. And
anytime anything goes wrong on this stream, by the way, Andrew Powell in chat here will make a comment about, man, if only there was a class you could take to like learn how to stream just to troll Ryan.
Thanks, Andrew.
Who, in fact, teaches that class.
I do teach that class at Michigan State. I have a blast doing it, and I also have a blast messing up in front of my students. You have to create lab spaces where you can fail, it turns out.
You have to model learning, and learning happens through making and solving mistakes.
That's right.
That's true.
That is.
100%.
Okay. First of all, I like games that bring up the accessibility options forcefully on first launch. I'm all about that.
I love that.
So that at least you have to see it, A, and B, you're made aware that it feels okay to do that. There's a lot of games that like it feels like you're cheating almost to go into the depths of the options
intended
menu.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it also shows that the way that my gaming experience is might not be the same as somebody else's gaming experience, and that there should be room made intentionally for both.
Yeah.
Yes. For instance, I will always turn the subtitles on for everything I'm playing. It's independent of the quality of the mix, though we could get into an hour-long argument about movies and games right now, about dialogue and whatnot. It is actually getting worse, at least the movies. But I always want the subtitles on everything I do.
Yeah, I like the multimodality.
Yeah, and especially honestly for the stream.
Yeah.
No, I don't need an extra outfit right now. I'm not connecting right now.
But dress
Yeah,
up.
the two things that my husband commented when I was like, "Oh, we're gonna play this game," he's like, "Oh, I heard that's like a Souls-like," and I was like, "Oh wow, rest in peace, Ryan."
Yeah.
I mean,
I can hang. I'm not as good at them as Joe is.
elements of it, but it's not
quite as hard.
It's not exactly the same.
But
Yeah.
then the
it
second
has
thing
a
he
lot
said
of the
was that the
elements.
character wears a very skin-tight outfit, and I was like, "Oh,
Yes,
so you'll be
that-
watching our stream."
That was the big like talking point, was the risque-ness of it all. Stellar Blade
Yes.
was made by the same people who made Nier.
Okay. That's why
and
the partnership
so-
exists so readily here, right? Yep.
Yes. So there is a Nier like add-on that they made after the game was over, and probably one of the funniest things that came out of that before we get into the game is you would get some outfits that were inspired by Nier that you could wear, and one of them has like a really short skirt. I mean, it's from the Nier game,
Right.
but if you tried to move your camera down so that you could see up the skirt, the character would kick your camera away and like make you go up. I was like, that's
funny.
Love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Very cool.
All right.
okay. This opening scene music, so good.
Yeah, I won't turn it down just yet. We'll listen to it as is here.
The threshold has been surpassed. Activating shield. Code red. Code red.
Like, I'm a sucker for any video game that gets full fired. Like, I hate fires.
All available drop pods will be ejected according to Protocol B32.
I really like a science fiction Gundam adjacent setting. I'm all about this.
Some good string parts too. I wouldn't mind sitting in an orchestra playing this.
No, it's gorgeous. There's some really nice piano parts and like songs that feature piano later that I'm like, I love it.
That is most of what I was able, like any little transcriptions I did were mostly those stuff that was like piano-y, because I'm like, that's
Well, that
not
makes
too many voices for me to do like very quickly.
Yeah.
I've had a bad cold since Valentine's Day, and I'm still like clearing it, so.
Yeah. No, but-
Great explosions.
Oh yeah. Well, and the fact that you think that that's your pod, obviously that's you because that's what the camera's following.
Right.
But it's not, because then it explodes. And you're like, wait, who am I?
I'm in this other one that crash landed.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, little tinnitus-y moment.
Mm-hmm.
07531. Pod landing complete. Removing
Landing.
physical
It should be.
Yeah, that's a
have
marine
quotes.
landing, right? The military joke is any landing you can walk away from.
Yeah.
Come on!
Ooh, I like this shift here.
I like that it didn't work, actually.
The low strings were good.
This place is dangerous. Take my hand.
And as soon as Taki like opens the door, there's a really small hint to her theme that happens later in the game that you don't really notice until you know what her full theme is, and you're like, oh, that was like musical foreshadowing almost.
Love it. Heeled boots, really.
This way to the right.
I will bring it up. since maybe it's less awkward for me to note it, I guess. At some point, we have to address that this is like a very idealized female figure form on all these playable characters here.
Oh, I think that was pretty
That you're
noticeable
playing
right off the
as
bat.
is modeled after a professional model.
Yeah.
So like, not. I mean, this game unfortunately got a lot of crap specifically about that
Yes.
and about.
Hold on, I'm going to turn down the sound effects so that we can
Yeah.
still hear the music, but not
Yeah,
have to
that
deal
sounds
with
good.
the effects the whole time.
Thank you.
Honestly, I do that on almost every game. Oh, hello, girly.
You heading to bed? Do you want to say hi
Let's
to
do
stream
that.
real quick?
Hi, Josephine.
Hi, Josephine.
They can say hi to you. You can listen.
Yeah, I'll let the headphones
Oh, no?
No?
Okay.
Okay.
You can head to bed.
Whatever, too cool for us, I get it.
Oh, I know.
Great.
You
Coordinates.
gotta get good sleep for school
Rendezvous
tomorrow.
point is at 2 o'clock.
And
That's right.
400 meters in front of us.
Stellar Blade.
what I will say quickly, as the straight man on the call,
You don't know
I
yet,
don't
we just
have a
started
specific problem with it, except that everything else about what I'm seeing and experiencing is also so cool. I don't like it when that specific aspect of a game dominates the conversation. So that's all I know about a
Yes.
game. And I do
Yes,
think we're
so-
across that threshold for Stellar Blade.
Yeah, I think the physical aspects of the characters in this game are supposed to be perfect. And you find out why in the story much later, that the perfection of their bodies is very intentional. And so just looking at it as a sexist whatever is not fair to the narrative design of the game.
Sure.
And yeah, everything else is. Man, look at the Natiba that you're fighting right now. It's so cool looking.
It is cool looking.
I loved the creature design in this game. The creature design in this game is so good.
Are you alright, Eve?
My body frame.
Take this. It's first aid.
Thank you.
And they make healing make sense. Not all games do that.
Right.
Yeah, little cameo. She was like, I want to watch you play. I'm like, I don't know about this one. We actually, a few weeks ago, she was watching, like, The Dispatch, and then we're like, oh no, this is not a kid game.
Right.
Yeah. How old is she again?
5.
5. Yeah, this is maybe a little too mature for 5.
I think a little, more like just scary, some of the fighting.
Yeah, there's there's definitely some parts that she would probably absolutely love, like when you just go fishing.
Yeah,
Fishing in games is like the best, and it's
we love a fishing moment.
Yeah.
right. Fishing moments are great, but then when you have these really big, scary, gross-looking monsters that you are definitely like viscerally fighting,
Yes.
probably not
Right.
the best for little kids. I probably am too loose with my kids sometimes with what
I
I'm okay
probably
with
am
them
too. I was
watching.
just thinking I would probably let Oliver play this. He's 10. He's watched Stranger
Kids are a
Things.
bit different, yeah. You know, like some kids are just like really sensitive to stuff, and
That was close.
you know, you can have 2 kids that are totally
isn't
different on
looking
that
good.
front. So
Let's go.
Right. And
she's
actually,
she's always actually handled scary stuff really well. But
That's the Natiba.
yeah,
join
doesn't mean we
I would
out of our
probably
way either.
I would have more
Right.
reservations, weirdly maybe, about my 13-year-old right now than my 10-year-old, because I'd have to have the body image conversation with my older child
Sure.
in a way that like my 10-year-old doesn't immediately process it that way yet. Give him a year.
It's coming.
Right.
It'll get there. Yeah, because my kids are 13, 11, and 9.
Okay.
And so, and they all are. It's funny watching how they all love games and they love gaming, but it's all in very different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like my 11-year-old right now, he's playing the original Elden Ring.
Nice.
That's a good one.
He loves just getting into the nitty-gritty, like,
Eve.
how do I fix this kind of like problem solving of it all.
Tacky.
But
Listen to me.
my daughter,
We
who's
haven't
older,
completed our
is
mission.
like, I just want to play something that
Now it's
feels
just up to
fun.
us to see this
Yeah.
mission through.
Nice.
Understand?
So I love that there's options for everyone in it. Okay, Ryan, you got this.
Write this music, stand up, be the hero, right?
Yeah.
You're wearing a tie.
It's true. I'm wearing a tie. That's a
You look
rarity for
very
me.
fancy.
She wears it better than I do, honestly.
See, like, this is where, with little kids especially, like, his intestines are, like, hanging out of his belly. Like, it's
Right.
gross.
It's a little gross.
Right? It's a little gross.
I will say this feels more Devil May Cry than Souls-like to me so far.
Sure, I can see that.
Like, from a
Yeah.
gameplay perspective, I can win here by just staying in and being awesome. And that's almost never the case in the Souls games.
In a Souls. It also depends on, there are some bosses and enemies that you absolutely cannot do that with. But I love how this game, like, you can feel the impacts that you're making. You know, it doesn't just look
Oh,
flashy.
hold on.
It feels
I need
heavy.
to, like, get out of there. Yes. I can't actually get enough distance.
You can heal.
Is it... Hold on, I might have
It's
to
either
reset.
up or down on the D-pad. I don't
I was trying to remember. But maybe I'm supposed to lose this also, because I just took a big hit and the narrative just kept going.
Yeah, this one is Taki to the rescue. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's so cool.
I thought it was up. I think it must be down to heal. I knew I had healing, though.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an alpha, but it was a strong one. You fought well, even better than during training.
We were all together. But then...
The damage to your body frame is serious. We have to find the supply camp. Wait, Eve. I hear something. Eve! Eve, are you alright? Alpha Natima.
Love the design of this character, actually.
Yeah.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so creepy.
Like a harpy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like scythe whip
Fights
hands.
for arms.
Scythe
uh-huh.
harpy.
Scythe hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
Here, friend. It's me. you
Butter, butter,
want.
butter, butter. Oh.
Well then. Ooh.
That's not great.
Eve! Get out of here.
Tacky!
This is totally Zero from Mega Man X stepping in and taking the hit for X.
Oh yeah.
Just the very high definition version of what that looks like.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Dun 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 dun. Right. As an aside, I have a very I always think it's very funny when a statue is presented wearing clothing but not covering their genitals.
Quiet.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that pass by very
Make sure
quickly.
to stay cautious.
Kate, nothing.
Yeah.
That's where the Alpha and AT buy is.
I mean, it's kind of a power move.
True. Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, I found it. The comment about if you have to declare yourself an alpha, you're not an alpha. One of my favorite memes on this is when men refer to themselves
Now,
as alpha
get ready.
males, I hear that in the
I'll be
context of
supporting you with
software,
the
where
goals.
alpha versions are unstable, missing important features, filled with flaws, and not fit for the public.
Hmm.
And then the top comment on that was, and in physics, alpha waves have lowest penetration power.
That's so funny.
See?
This
The
is
angel
when definitions and context
This was
matters.
the final battlefield
Mhm.
of civilization. It was
That's
also
what
known
academics
I have to
say all
say-
the time.
This is
Mhm.
not the music that I expected for this
Mhm.
moment.
Something is falling from the sky.
It's giving like
lot
cool nighttime
strange
city in a Final
sensation.
Fantasy game, right? Like, I feel like I'm in
Sure.
FF7 or
This is
something.
The Earth's rain.
Yeah, this
We can admire the scenery later. We have a job to
I
do.
love how the music
The terrain data's
in that
beautiful.
area, like the opening scene is like big and expansive and hard hitting. You have impact drums, you have a full choir, you know, all of these things, and it's all very forward. The sound is very forward, right? Whereas here the sound very much comes back. The singing is much more breathy. There's a lot less
Okay.
instruments.
We'll stick with the full suit, I think, for now.
Yeah. It's a good idea, Ryan.
There will be lots of options later. But
Falling debris. Be careful. Lee.
this music here and through a lot of the different places that she explores, the music is much more
Something
intimate.
is coming.
Like
Mhm.
the vocals
It's a
aren't
crustacean type
belting.
thing.
The
They're coming.
instruments are very reserved.
All right.
And
Area is clear.
it really is just a way for her to explore. And then there are just very key moments in the story and in the game where the music again will open up to be this huge, big, everything is forward, the vocals are belting, the instruments are like, there's brass, there's, you know, heavy feelings in it. That's just powerful. But a majority of the game is this more kind of breathy,
A type of entry permit.
close music, and it's very beautiful.
I always like a vocals heavy game. I feel like too often we get just hold on. Was it alpha or the theta? Hold on, let me check. I just looked at it.
I
Yes.
wasn't watching, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Also,
good.
This, I also wasn't watching because this Silent Street track I have a little transcription of if we want to like jump over to it at any point.
Okay.
It's not the whole track, but it's a little bit of it.
Theta alpha. Okay, okay. Making me rely on being a
But since
Gr-
this
a
is a
Greek
background
person.
area, we can do that whenever because we'll be hearing it a bit.
Yeah, and anytime you exit from the keypad and then go back in, it changes the order of the symbols. And
right.
so you can't just memorize like where things were.
Buildings are collapsing.
Yeah, you have to actually know the
Because of the
passcode.
city's unstable terrain.
Mhm.
You'll get used to it soon.
Intense. Also, I like that your like camera robot companion is named Adam.
So, yeah, Adam is the person that was on the ship. He talks to you through the drone. So he's still like on
Okay,
the
so
ship, and he just communicates with you through the robot drone.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Barker.
But having a robot drone named Adam would also be very funny.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Legion camp in a place like this.
And kind of a nice like flip too, that like Adam would be like the sidekick.
Yeah, no, and he is. He is the sidekick, really,
Yeah.
like, when you look at it. Yay, your first camp.
Yay.
Is that a gacha machine?
It does look like one.
Looks a little.
So I can buy, this is the Ninja Gaiden item menu. I can buy temporary items, but it doesn't look like I can upgrade anything permanently here. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, that will be there.
All right, what do we got? Survival. Oh, yeah, we definitely
These
want to
are-
learn dodging.
Yeah, these are your combos. Like, I get overwhelmed easily with big skill trees, but I really liked how they did it in this game. I thought it was really unique because it showed you very clearly, without being overwhelming, how each skill builds on what you did beforehand.
Yeah.
And
What's funny
you
is
know-
intuitively, I tried to press a dodge roll button and didn't have it, and I was like, oh, okay then. Because my
You didn't have the
expectations that you
skill.
get one is so high in this type of game.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, look, here's your whole combo tree, Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, just
okay.
a lot of combos, a lot of button timing.
Yeah, and then skills that you can only do so often.
Yeah, you build up your meter for it.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a moment, Ryan, I do have this one shared on Discord if you wanted to. I don't know how easy it is to jump back and forth with this game, but
Let me pause and check.
we'll see. If it's a pain, we can just do a bunch later. But
It looks like it should be possible. Hold on a second.
okay.
Let me pull back.
I don't have the whole
XSplit
track,
over
but I
here.
do have part of this Silent Street one, so I figured folks might want to see it.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's in a very flatted key.
One of the nice things about having the Stream Deck is I can mute the game, which is why you all just had it muted.
Mhm.
And I will watch this Discord window. Don't go yet, though, Dana, because I want to add it
I
to
won't.
the stream for
Yeah.
folks. Because we're going to blink out Stellar Blade. We don't need to like watch the sheet music dance across her chest or anything. And we can...
So yeah, anybody in Discord, you can hop over to my
Put-
share.
put this here. And then if I do
How
this...
do we do that?
Look at that. We can see it, and it works. I am the
OMG.
best. I'm going to pretend I know what I'm talking about here for a change.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I
here's.
don't know what I'm doing with Discord. Where am I going?
I have a share. That is the sheet music for this little transcription of some of it.
Where is that on my menu?
Good question.
It's still
in
the
Discord,
voice channel.
if you're on
like in
my
the same
Discord
channel.
server still, Karina,
Yeah.
could you
Do I
see
need
the
to-
game stream while we were all doing stuff, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Do I need to click stop watching?
No, you need
Yeah.
to look at Dana's name where it says
Oh.
live,
And then watch her stream.
and then watch her
Thank
stream.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can
Hey,
just
we're
kind of pop
there.
back and forth. Okay.
Got
Yeah, so here's a little bit of this one. Just piano stuff. Obviously I didn't do like voices and whatnot, but like
Mm.
I like this little like nene, nene, nene.
Mhm.
A lot of little clustery chord moments.
Yeah, what I like is because the bottom, or at least at the beginning part right here, the top is going to be like the driving momentum, but for a lot of it, you have this like uneven rhythm on the
Mhm.
bottom, kind of driving it forward while still giving like space for rest and like, you know, just the notes being able to hold on the top. And they really kind of blend together really well. It's like a duet between the voices in the top and the voices in the bottom, and how they are both pushing the song forward or allowing the other to kind of relax.
It goes on from there.
Mhm.
But yeah, wasn't too bad. I just didn't have time.
I know,
Didn't have
it's
time to do stuff.
great.
But yeah, I really like you were saying, like it leaves some space. Even these little arpeggiations, they don't keep going, they land and they pause.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they just sustain it. And there's just a lot of these kind of larger da 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 ba 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 ba
And-
ba ba. Also the triplets in there are really
Quarter
cool.
note triplets.
Yeah,
I love
love it.
quarter note triplets.
it's a good feeling.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. What software, notation software do you use for this?
I'm a Muse score girl because
That's
it's free.
Not bad. That's great. We love it.
I've used it for years. I
That's
had a
so good.
Sibelius subscription for a while, and I just like didn't find this. Like, yes, the samples were good, but like I didn't love it so much to continue paying for it. So I just went back to MuseScore.
I mean, I am a firm believer that there should be an accessible entry into every part of the industry, especially like including sheet music and orchestration and things like that too. And MuseScore does the job. It does a really good job for what you need to be able to do those basic things. Like I use MuseScore all the time with my students, and it is a great time. Oh, he saved her.
Oh.
Yeah, I found that because the forums are also really extensive, like even more complicated stuff, if I don't remember offhand, I can usually Google it. I haven't had anything that like I personally can't do for my purposes, because a lot of what I do is like arranging for string quartets, pop stuff for weddings. So like not really hitting the edges of what the software can do for that. Morning gang. Where's Brohannes that it's morning? Are you in where would it be morning?
Right now, it'd be an uncomfortable morning in Europe. You're looking at an Asian destination
Europe,
for that.
Maybe.
So with music notation software, I love MuseScore. I love that it's free. It does a lot for what people need it to do, which is fantastic. But then you have like the other two big ones, Sibelius and Dorico.
Yep.
If I had a perfect world, it would be the note input of Dorico with the formatting of Sibelius. Like,
Yeah, that's legit.
Note input with Dorico is so easy. It's so seamless. It's so fast. It's so great. But then when you have to format a score or do like really fancy things with it, Dorico can do it if you know how to do it. It's really hard to, like, you have to know their way to do it. Whereas with Sibelius, you can drag and drop. You can do lots of different things.
Yeah.
And it's a much more available type of user interface with Sibelius for that part of things. So like, but if you could just marry the two. My biggest pet peeve though is the fact that, I mean, they both use the keypad for note input, right? Which is great. We love that. But the shortcuts for Dorico is one number off of the shortcuts for Sibelius. And so when I have to go back and forth between the two, it is the most annoying thing ever. It's just, I'm like, okay, which one am I using? What is 5?
Yeah, I ended up finally getting a MIDI keyboard to kind of mitigate.
Oh, nice.
Because then I can be a lot faster, and then I have a numpad where I can just like, be switching out note value, and then just like one here, and just type it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes things go so much faster. Although I got pretty adept at doing keyboard input because that's what I had for a lot of years.
See, I'm a Finale refugee, and I'm sad about it.
Yeah, me too. But I still like MuseScore.
Yeah. MuseScore is great. I was Finale for a long, long time, and I chose to switch to Dorico before Finale left everybody as refugees. I really like that terminology. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And I do love Dorico a lot. And found it to be a lot easier to migrate to from Finale than Sibelius was.
Yeah. No, I bought Dorico when they offered the cross-grade, like, super good deal pricing, and it really was a good deal. When Finale shuttered. And then I was like, Julianne is also a Finale person right along with me. And we were like, let's, like, the next break, figure out a way we can meet somewhere and just take a 2-day vacation where we learn Dorico is our vacation.
Sure.
And instead of doing that, she's having a baby this week or next week.
Yeah. I have now officially taken over her class.
Nice.
Well, one of her classes. I'm not doing all of them, but We actually just did a
Wait,
transcription
there's a
assignment,
future
and it was we didn't specify. They were allowed to use whatever they were comfortable with, and so we did have a split of Sibelius, Dorico, a couple MuseScore users. So I was like, I don't really care how you get there. Whatever feels better for you.
I
Well,
found.
this is the.
Oh, go ahead,
Sorry, go
Karina.
ahead.
No,
I was just
you.
gonna say, this
I have
is-
to think for a
this
minute.
This is the thing that I wish was more visible in our industry in video game audio, is that whatever you have to get the job done, if you're getting the job done well, is all that you need to get that job done.
Right.
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 Because if you talk to 10 different composers, you will have 10 different opinions on what is the right DAW, and 10 different opinions about what are the right samples that you need, and 10 different examples of the right way, quote, right way, to get into the industry, which I don't know very many people who say there is one right way,
Right.
but if you get too focused on this person, I want to be like this person, and you try to do everything that that person did, you're going to hinder your ability to get into the industry in a way that will feel good to you once you're there, because it's
Because you're not that other person.
well, and it's so customizable.
You bring your own gifts, right? Like your own perspective, your own strengths.
And it's so modular and customizable to each person and what you can do and what you have.
Okay, 2 after that.
And so when people are like, you need this software or else you can't, I'm like, that's not an accurate statement. You might not hire me if I'm not using the software that you're using, but I can do just as good of a job with the software that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
In this moment to get the job done. So I just wish there was more visibility around that, so that, because I've met a lot of students who are like, oh, I just don't know if I can because I don't have XYZ, and I'm like, just,
This way.
but you have the things
There
that are
traces of
not
markers left behind by the
purchasable.
Legion.
Right.
And if you use that part of you that you have, then you can get there. Like, you just need to get into it. So,
right.
I don't know.
It's similar in academia too, because your advisor was on the market in a very different market, and so like if they told you exactly what they did to land their tenure track job, doesn't mean it's gonna work 20
and also,
30
how many
years
ago
later.
that was? Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, my advisor, at one point, I think I was applying for like a dissertation fellowship, which I didn't get, but I had to send him my CV, and he was like helping me over with my CV, and he was like, your CV as a graduate student looks like mine did a few years into my tenure track job. He's like, there's just such an expectation now that like you will have already published by the time you're out.
Scan complete.
He's like, that wasn't a thing when I was going through school. Like, it was like, just do your dissertation and start making some contacts in the field. Obviously you could do some conference presentations and stuff to like make those contacts, but he was like, there wasn't an expectation that I was doing anything other than the dissertation until it was done.
Yeah. Well, and that's what outdated advisors like mine were still recommending. And they were like appalled that I would even consider publishing while I was in grad school.
Yeah.
They're like, all you have to do is work on your
I see
dissertation. And
that
I'm
ladder
like, dude,
way
that's
over
not
there.
true.
Hold on.
That's not true anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
You fall
absolutely
into the
not
water.
true.
Do I?
Yeah, you fall into the water.
Okay.
Can you
Yeah,
like
it was
swan
very,
dive?
very, very bad advice
Can't
that I
reach
was
the ladder.
given. So
Water level is too low.
Yeah, and I've heard that from a lot of people. I was lucky that my advisor was savvy to that idea that it's
Quick
it isn't a
aside
waste
for
of
game
time.
stuff, we love a low pass filter when we're under the water.
We do.
We
This
do,
stream
we do
is
love
a
that.
big fan of a low pass filter moment. That and like give me an orchestral hit anytime. I'm like such a sucker for them. Love orchestral hits. When
I
we
wonder if I can
streamed
push this over.
all of Sea of Stars, which
Yeah,
is
totally
like one of
can.
my favorite games of the past few years, and the battle theme like makes extensive use of orchestral hits, and every time I was giggling to myself. Like, how many hundreds of times did we hear that battle track, and I was still like,
You're just like,
orchestral hit.
yeah. Yes.
It just makes you so happy. You're like, yes.
It makes me so happy.
Ryan, what were you going to say earlier?
Oh, I was gonna say, it's pretty rare for there to be only one right tool for the job. That might be true if you're talking about an advanced thing. Like for sheet music notation, for instance, not as an undergrad, but in grad school, I was told I had to reconcile Debussy's absolutely gorgeous handwritten manuscripts for his piano preludes and make a printed version in some notation software that looked as elegant, where it crosses the staff from right hand to left hand elegantly. Just the arpeggio continues up, flows around, goes back down, and there's just a gap of space. Where if you're in a digital environment where you have to fill every beat on the staff, Finale will not do this by default unless you curse at it for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And it turns out the point of this assignment was to teach me that it's okay to curse at my music software for 6 hours.
Hey,
but which is a useful life skill to learn, whether that is a DAW or whether that is music notation software.
Or both.
Futzing around and making something happen is part of the gig.
Yeah, we often use fuck around and find out negatively, but there is fuck around and find out positive, right?
Sure. It's the same how there's FOMO, the fear of missing out, and the opposite of that is JOMO, the joy of missing out. Sometimes it's wonderful to not be involved in whatever's happening over there.
Yes.
We can all have joy in that sometimes. So yeah, it's
or the whole I love that for you, I love that for another person that isn't me.
Sure.
Right.
Well, and especially when you don't know how to do something, you have so many options. You can just try to figure it out. You can experiment. You can shift and do something new. You can ask for help, not knowing how to do something, trying to figure out how to do something so elegant like that, talking to someone who has experience in doing things like that. What a blessing.
Yeah. Okay.
Being able to have the opportunity to go and learn something new, it's so, sometimes that's kind of poo-pooed on, I can't do this, and so I need to. It's no. This is one of the best joys of the industry, is being able to find who is an expert at this, especially because 9 times out of 10, they're willing to share because they're just excited to share it with you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The one-handed ladder descent is so rocking, right?
That is so rocking.
With her heels, being the brace.
Yes. Yep. That's a movie star animation. Okay. I was going to say that lounge-ish music at the camp, there's obviously this very relaxed mood vibe going on, but the melody there weirdly reminds me of a very tense moment in a different game, that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's close to the Resurrections motive from Celeste, which is really fun.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
You are not wrong.
That's fun.
Okay, it doesn't
You need
operate.
an item to put into it.
Okay.
You need to put a battery into it.
I considered writing, having Celeste as part of a case study in my eventual book, but I didn't have a strong idea about what I wanted to do with it. And now I'm really thrilled because there's 3 people I know working on Celeste chapters for other things. They're an article. And I'm great, I'll see what they have to say.
That's how it
Sometimes
works.
I feel really strongly about wanting to work on something myself, and sometimes I'm if other people write on it first, then I can just see what they do and see if that sparks anything.
Sure.
And I really like Celeste, and I love every Lena Raine score deeply, but I'm okay waiting on that one and seeing if I can maybe build on something that exists. I don't always want to be the first to write on a game,
Well, and oftentimes I'll hear it and I'll be oh man, this slaps. And in 8,000 word article, that does not make it.
Right. You need to so what?
Sure. It's a 2-word article. This slaps.
Right.
Period.
That is my joke about why I haven't published on the first 6 Mega Man games. I'm I don't really have much to say other than how much I love those soundtracks. I grew up on them. And one of my crowning moments, the year that the stream team decided to do MagFest, Takashi Tateishi was there, and there had been a meet and greet where there was a 6-hour wait to get to the front of the line, but I just recognized him in the hallway, and I like went up to
Wow.
him and very tentatively in terrible Japanese was basically like, I've been listening to your soundtrack since I was like a little kid. I love them so much, thank you. And he was just like, do you want to take a picture? Thumbs up. And I'm like, I just got to do that. Yeah, so there's a picture of me like with this like ridiculous grin. Yeah, we're just like
Yeah, at that panel actually, where he was like the featured speaker on this panel at MagFest one year, one of my favorite memories of anybody in the industry is watching him realize in real time how many people cared about what he had done.
mm-hmm.
Because he was,
That was
for
a good moment.
somehow not under the impression that he was in our circles like the guy who scored Mega Man 2. Right? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, we love you. Oh crap. I gotta go get my battery charger, my plug.
Go for it.
I have no
Do
words.
it.
I'll be right back.
Do what is required.
One of my favorite moments where I got to kind of do that for Composer. I wrote a paper for our North American Conference on Video Game Music a few years ago, several years ago at this point, too many years ago at this point. I'm not going to look up what year it was because I'll feel sad, but it was on the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves adaptation from the early 90s.
Diffusion cell.
Yeah.
And Paul Webb
it goes
isn't
in that
in
thing,
the
yeah.
industry anymore.
Mhm.
I found him on LinkedIn. And just like I did one of those like trials where you could like send somebody not in your network a message, and then I was just
sure.
like, hey, I'm a musicologist and I want to do a thing on, do you want to like interview? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And so I did an interview that I then recorded and transcribed and everything. But it was funny when he was like prepping for the interview, he was like, I went on YouTube and like people have like uploaded the score and there were like hundreds of listens to each track. And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, you wrote good stuff that we really love.
It's a
Right.
really good score. But yeah, he was having a moment. He's like, it was on YouTube. I didn't think anybody would care about that. The game's so old. Like,
I
clearly
love
I care
that,
about it.
though.
I'm writing about it.
I love that. I love the infinite potential for one person's work to touch someone's life that they don't even know about it. Like, probably one of my favorite things that was said to me once, it was when I was earlier in my career and I was, that moment in your career when you're like trying to get in and you're just trying to be impressive to people. Like, you just need to impress someone.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's such a silly thing. Like, now I look back at it and I'm like, how silly, but it's also so like natural and forgivable because of course you want to impress people. Like, it makes complete sense. But I was in that space and someone was like, well, you've published music before. I was like, yes. Like, I had like nothing big, like really small stuff. They're like, it doesn't matter. Somewhere out there, someone is your biggest fan, even if you don't know them. And I was like, oh, like that
Oh, don't fall.
is
That's
really
such a beautiful thought.
right. Isn't that like, and it's something that you could easily be like, shh, whatever, no, like, but choosing to believe that, I think it is a true thing, that is, and your story really proves it. Like, someone out there is your biggest fan and you don't even know it, because what you make matters. Like, this is an eternal truth across everything. Any creation that you put out into the world changes the world in some way, shape, or form. And so, but we don't always have the opportunity to see that happen. And so bringing that to light for people, I think that's absolutely
I'm
phenomenal.
big on telling people like what a fan I am. Like, all my colleagues know that like I do that with them when I can. Even if it's
good.
just like people that I see every week, like on this stream team, like I'll be teaching someone's article and like tell them like, here's how the students were responding to reading your article, or I think that's really important to tell
there's
people.
the ladder with the plank. Oops.
And next week, I'm taking over a class for our dear stream teamer. Julianne is going on maternity leave. And next week, I'm having Ryan and our friend Sarah Pasternak-Chenevey, they're going to come in and do like a fandom studies week.
Yes,
and then the
so
week
pumped for
after,
this.
Karen's going to come in and talk video game music, and we're going to read Karen's Xanadu article, which is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. And
I'm excited
That sounds
for
like
that.
so much fun.
for so long, the thing that, and I think this still happens, but the thing that everybody cites of Karen's is like her Civilization work is so solid. But I think I like Xanadu even more.
Thank you.
I think it's
That's so
just-
nice
Karina,
to
is there a
hear.
map? Sorry for interrupting the conversation. Is there a map that tells
There's-
me where to go?
Nope. There's
Okay.
not.
Uh,
Did you put the battery in the door to open it?
No, I have the car battery now.
Yeah, so you need to go back to that thing that said.
The thing you told me
Use
I
or
put the
whatever.
item in eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you need to put the car battery into that item.
Where is that?
I'm trying to remember where you are.
Here's the car.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Those guys sneak attack you.
While we're
Yeah,
in
they do.
combat, I
Okay.
really like how the layers come up.
Of music.
Yeah. Come on and off for the combat.
The layering is so well done because it's it's unobtrusive,
Yes.
right?
Ooh.
It never takes you out of the experience that you're having.
Mm.
And that's one of the cool things about, like, on the implementation side, having malleable layering like that, where it can like very gradually build up and remove, and that feels a lot more seamless than having like an abrupt on off.
Yeah.
Yes.
It makes it feel more like it's breathing with you, right?
Right, like the piano motive's entrance right as the thing died, and if I was still in combat, it would have been the guitar.
Right.
Happens so fast and so smoothly.
Yeah.
Is there a Dora the Explorer video? Or is Andrew trolling me? I of course, as soon as you asked if there was a map, Ryan, I had to put not a map stream in the chat.
I know.
That's
I know.
an old joke of ours.
I always have to go off about maps. I love maps.
Maps are great.
Ryan, you know I'm with you. I love maps.
Maps are exciting. Although, when I lived in Romania, I had not yet really learned how to read maps in a way that was used for my survival.
Here
How
we
long
go.
were you in Romania? That's amazing.
I was there for, probably 16 months,
Wow, that's so
Nice.
almost a year and a half. Gorgeous country. If you're going to Europe, put Romania on your itinerary. It is, like, not enough people go there. It's
cool. I was
absolutely
supposed to go to Europe for my honeymoon in 2020. Wah wah.
You'll get there.
And then we had a
Doing
kid
it.
instead, so we'll go eventually. But yeah, we were gonna. Oops, knocked over my coaster. We were gonna do like Slovenia, where I'm from. We were gonna probably do like Italy, Slovenia, and then a little bit of Austria, and go up to Mannheim in Germany, because that's where Joe's family is from. So we were gonna kind of like tour on up.
That sounds glorious. Well, if ever you make it out there, go to Romania and go to Brașov, because, I mean, Constanța's also gorgeous. There's a lot of great places, but Brașov was probably my favorite, because it's in the Carpathian Mountains in the Transylvania area province.
How do you synchronize the location?
Absolutely gorgeous. But everything is public transportation. And I grew up in Colorado, where that is not how you get around. And so I did not need to learn how to read maps in that way. And the amount of times that I got lost, so many times. But I explored a lot of beautiful country.
Nice.
So
Sounds lovely. Sounds beautiful.
it is. It's so pretty.
Like this used to be a library.
Got a piano?
These boxes
Can you play the
displayed
piano?
on the walls.
I am
That's a
playing
pretty
it now.
piano. I love the
she
carvings
plinks.
on it.
Sort of.
She blinks.
Yeah.
They can only
It's-
store
it's
up
a
to 1 megabyte
pinky.
of data.
What a waste of resources.
What a waste of resources. One of the
Eve.
best jokes.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
I think it's a great joke.
It's a really great joke. My father-in-law has a fully functional cylinder-loading player piano. That's a grand piano player piano in his living room parlor.
Cool.
And
so cool.
you want to talk about an inefficient data storage mechanism,
Uh-huh.
but it's worth every moment you spend with it.
Yeah.
Right? There's
So
nothing
beautiful.
like putting in a cylinder to the player piano and watching it go.
Oh, that's so cool. So, yeah, I've been playing the piano for 35 years. And so anytime I see like fun piano things, it's just always so fun. So whenever I see a piano in a game, I always get really excited, and then I'm almost immediately
quite deep.
disappointed
It's going
with
to be
how they
difficult to
allow
pass.
me to interact or not interact with the piano.
Uh-huh.
We'll have to go across,
But this one
past
made
the
me
parking
laugh
tower.
because obviously the developers put a piano in there on purpose.
Mhm.
And obviously art is not a waste of resources, or else they would not have made such a glorious game. You know, I mean, like, just all
Right,
the-
right.
And the music is so gorgeous, and they have the piano as the main voice for
Yeah.
a lot
And
of their music.
Karina,
in this
do you
game.
know
And so,
offhand
like,
who scored this, actually?
I
yes,
had it.
it was produced in house by Shift Up, the music studio Monaca. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but it was a number of people, but the primary composers were Hyunmin Cho, Oliver Good, and Kieta Inoue. I think
Okay.
is how you say her name. And so it's a collaborative team of people who were able to I think they did a really good job of
Oh, wait, there's the piano. We're already
doing
this is
1
where it
plus
came
1
from.
equals 3, right? Where they're equal to more than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a
with-
few tracks
with how they
listening
collaborated.
through by
A
Korean
couple of
composer Mother
the-
Vibes too that I thought were really fantastic.
A couple
Yeah.
of like the cluster harmonies and the vocals in that area we were just exploring
Mm-hmm.
sounded like Yoko Kanno's score to Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex
like
to me.
Yes,
Mhm.
it sounds
What's
very
that?
similar.
It's a depot, set up by the airborne squad who came here before.
Looks like it's been abandoned for a long time. How come they set up a camp in a corner like this?
Well, the supply
So
camp
is
also
piano your
serves as an
main,
important
Karina?
base.
Yeah. Yeah,
Was
piano's
this
my
parking
main,
lot
and
built?
then I also play the organ,
It could also
and
mean
I
this place is very
have sung
dangerous.
professionally in the past, not for a while, but I used to. And
Then I guess
obviously I'll
this
still sing
place could be
casually and
useful
things
for
like
us.
that. And then I've done a lot of melodic percussion, but not for a while.
That's so cool.
But yeah, like marimbas and chimes and timpani and just like all the gloriously beautiful ways that you can create vibrations and sound. Like, it's just so much fun. I
What's
used
your
to
voice
play...
type?
I'm an alto.
Alto?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, altos unite. Yeah, so I used to be able to play clarinet, but then when I got nerve damage, I couldn't hold an embouchure anymore, and so that like went out the door for me. But yeah, all things music.
That is many instruments.
It is many instruments. It is, but they're all very, very fun. It's always interesting the people who think that that playing the piano and the organ is basically the same. And I'm like,
No,
no.
an
I grew up
organist
with
is
enough
like
piano to know to
'cause
know that
my
is not
college
true.
roommate was an organ performance major who later became a pastor.
Oh my goodness.
Which is not an uncommon route, I will note, for organ performance music majors to travel. Because
Cool.
that's where pipe organs are, frankly, is in Christian churches somewhere.
Yes.
But watching Tyler play the organ was like watching somebody with 4 hands do stuff in a way that and I've had about 10 years of piano. I'm nowhere near as equipped professionally as you would be to play piano, but I can talk about how you learn piano and talk about things with piano.
Sure. Yeah.
Only about a third of that even translates to organ at all.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, I was a piano performance major in college, and was a professional concert pianist for a number of years. And I am not to the caliber of an organ performance major. I can play the organ, and I do play the organ, and I perform the organ a lot, but my organ skills are not at the same level as my piano skills. But they are called on more frequently.
Yep.
So I tend to use them a lot, which is great. I do. I love it. But when people are like, oh, it's like the same, I'm like, the most succinct way to explain the difference is that the piano relies heavily on the attack, how you approach the keys. How do you play the keys? With what pressure and what direction? Things like that. Because as soon as you play a key, the sound begins to diminish.
Yep.
And so how you attack and approach the keys is what matters the most, compared to organ, where you can hold a key for as long as you want, and the sound never goes away until you let go. And so the most important part for the organ is the release. How do you release the notes? And also, they don't have a reaction the way that a keyboard has, right? There's no weight to the keys on an organ, so you don't need to push them hard in order to play loud. You increase the volume pedal. And so the goal with the organ is to play as light as possible while also being as, as precise as you possibly can with when notes are released. Because otherwise it sounds muddy. The same way if you hold a sustaining pedal down on a piano and don't lift it up, it gets muddy because you're not allowing the notes to maintain integrity with how you are playing them. And so it's the same thing with an organ if you're not releasing the keys at a certain timing, right? And so that's like the easiest way to separate them. The fact that you have multiple appendages playing an organ is definitely also another part of it. You have multiple manuals, which is the different layers of keyboards, the stops that change, all the different things. Like there's the functional aspects of it also, but from a performance point of view, there's that. Although I will say, in college I took private lessons for drum set.
Nice.
And I was always so frustrated because I could play the organ with all 4 appendages, and I could move my feet on the foot pedals, and I could do the things with my hands, and I could do all the things, but then get me to play the bass and the hi-hat with both feet and both hands, not moving them, just playing the rhythm. I could never get all 4 appendages to work together at the same time. It was the most frustrating thing on the planet. I would talk to my teacher, I'm like,
astonish me.
I'm like, I don't understand. Why can I only use 3 appendages and they're not even moving? I just couldn't do it. But I love learning to try. I loved trying to learn. I did. But I enjoy learning. Like, I find that to
good
be
for
one
you
of the best
cognitively too. Like, it doesn't even matter if you get good. It's just like the process of doing is so good for you. Would you say, because I grew up on piano and then eventually decided I didn't think that I thought I was too social. I needed to do violin instead, and so I could be like in a section and like playing chamber music. I always felt like piano was kind of like an add-on to like existing chamber groups. Which maybe it was short-sighted of me at 18, but I was like, I want to be in an orchestra setting where I feel like I'm not just like brought in for special pieces kind of thing. But all that aside, I went to a school that was very early music heavy, and so we had a lot of exposure to harpsichord. I find piano to harpsichord a lot easier than piano to organ. Would you agree?
Yes.
Because it's also about attack, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so it's interesting because harpsichord, right, it still has an action to the keys, except instead of pushing the key to create a hammer hit, it's pushing the key to create a pluck. Like the hook goes up and plucks the string. And so there's still some weight. It's not as much weight as there is with the piano, so you still kind of have the lightness of an organ with the reaction attack timing needed as a piano. So, and also the way that harpsichords are manufactured, the keys are much smaller. And so you can move a lot faster on them because they're lighter and smaller. And so going from piano to harpsichord is a lot easier than piano to organ for that reason. It's not as jarring.
Maybe.
But
anyway, please show me the next route.
Harpsichords are fascinating. They're super fun.
Let me take a
Yeah,
look
my
at the
main
map.
issue with harpsichord was it being in tune.
Yes.
Which
As the
was
crow flies, the Hall of
yes,
Records
they
is
were
a
Sure.
chihuahua.
constantly
They are
tuning
fun
those.
to tune.
An entire block
But
submerged.
also B, I just didn't have a lot of practice like realizing figured bass because like I wasn't doing continuo parts. So generally when I sat down, I was just like
There's a transportation
plinking around. I
device
wasn't
there
doing
that you
anything
can
serious
Sure.
on it, but
Sure.
I remember feeling like
really think
this
that these
feels good. And
abandoned
anytime
devices
I've
are still
like
going to
been near an
work?
organ, I'm like,
My camp was in one piece. Let's just try
When
it.
I first
Harpsichord is
started
so much fun to
learning,
play.
Positive.
Oh,
Sure.
it is. When I first started learning how to play like Bach Prelude and Fugue music, I was like struggling. I mean, this was when I was 12 or 13, but I didn't have the musical maturity to like understand why this was important. It just felt like a chore at the time. And my teacher had a neighbor who had a harpsichord, and one of my lessons got permission to bring me over to her neighbor's house to be able to see the harpsichord and play it a little bit. And so we like just experimented some things, and then, you know, she was very much she could have been like, best way to describe her is that she was like the science teacher of music. Like everything was about exploring and the scientific method and what do you notice and what do you hypothesize will happen if we do it this way. Can we find out? Let's test it. Like that was how she approached piano, which was absolutely wonderful. But she did that with me with the harpsichord, and I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like figuring things out, and then we went back to her house, and she was like, now hopefully it will make more sense when I tell you that every single prelude and fugue written by Bach was written for that instrument, not for the instrument that you're playing it on. And I was like, that does make so much more sense. Like that instantly like opened a window in my mind to being like, I understand how I need to play the piano in order to play these songs now, because it's so easy to trip up your fingers.
Yeah.
Because like if you're playing heavy or like down, or you're
It's
trying
so
to be
easy
like
to
bold.
get too heavy on that stuff, and then
Yes.
you totally lose the line. It's this. I mean, it's the same way in the unaccompanied like violin stuff too.
But I should
you
rest,
need
hold
to
on.
lighten the f up. And like similarly, I actually had a teacher that did the exact same thing on piano Bach when I was growing up, but also in violin Bach land. I actually have my bow out. I can show.
Yes, please.
One of the things that they had me do, so like normal bow hold, they would do like the choke up bow hold, so you would like lose the frog weight. That's like you don't have access to a Baroque instrument moment, so they will do that as like a kind of a nice substitute to get you to realize like you can't press down the same way. You can't physically get as heavy when you don't have that frog weight. And so like, yeah, try playing it there, try your spiccato now, try, getting off the string more, and like it completely transforms how you do it. And around the same time, I was listening to like the Hilary Hahn Bach, which is so virtuosic and beautiful, but I had teachers like, okay, now compare that to like Rachel Pardus Bach, which is meant to be more historically informed, and like you can just feel like, oh, it's so much lighter. Which isn't to say there's anything wrong with Hilary's interpretation, but like you can feel the like dance in the Pardus version.
Yeah, and it really is like one of those, like when I talk to my students, I don't talk about playing light or hard. I talk about playing up or down.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're at the piano, you want to play up, because if you're playing down, you're not going to be able to get to the next part of the song in time.
Yeah.
It's like very like up on the fingertip, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Allows more
without
nimble.
creating injury. Like, that's how overuse injury happens at the piano, is by playing with any form of tension in your body or playing down all the time, right? Because it creates force that your body wasn't built to exert in that way, in that posture. And I suffered an overuse injury when I was in college. I sprained my rotator cuff in my right shoulder from playing the piano too much. My doctor did not believe me. He did not believe me. He's like, surely you got in a car accident, or surely you fell, or surely something. And I was like, I spend 12 hours a day in a practice room with a piano.
Right.
That is all I did. Which was bad. That's not good for your body.
Right.
And I was learning a Rachmaninoff piano, and so like everything is like octaves, and you're moving up and down so much, and I was like just holding the octave position constantly, and that creates tension here, and it goes, the tension travels up to your shoulder, up your neck, down your back, into your thighs, like all of it. And nobody thought to tell me that I should release from the octave. Like, so when I talk to my kids, to my students, we talk about jellyfish octaves.
Mm-hmm.
When you practice octaves, you go down and you come up, and you go down and you come up, and it feels very silly, and it makes you go very, very slow. But it teaches your body how to release. So when you're going super fast, it's so loose and light because there's space in there because you have a jellyfish.
So is that how you do Erlkönig without like killing yourself?
Also, you should not be sitting at the piano for longer than 40 minutes. At 40 minutes, take a break, stand up, walk around for at least 5 to 10 minutes.
And like hydrate,
and then you can go back.
Sip some water.
Yes.
Same thing for computers.
Mm-hmm.
For all of us that sit at computers all the time. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's true, but I don't want to hear it.
Sorry.
No, I know.
But so it's this idea of if you play up, then you are releasing tension. Like one of the things that I'll also teach, and I do this for myself all the time, is when there's a part in the piece where I am struggling, where I know that I'm going to mess up, or where I am anticipating the mistake that is probably going to happen because it's just hard, that anticipation builds tension in your body, and the more tension there is, and the more you try to force and control it, the less equipped you are to be able to play it well. Because you need to be relaxed in order to be in actual control of your body, to be able to play in a free way, in the way that you want to do it. And so we practice breathing. I will write in my score when I need to breathe, and I practice breathing in that spot the same way that I would practice playing a note in that spot. Because the breath naturally relaxes you, it releases tension, it forces you to, resituate your body in a way that creates that comfort for you to be able to be prepared for what's going to come next. And so if you practice, it's the same thing with vocals. When you're singing, your throat is your instrument, you have to breathe to be able to play it. When you play a wind instrument, you have to breathe in order to play it. So you naturally practice your breath with those things. And the disadvantage to a non-wind instrument is the fact that you can breathe if you think about it, if you feel like it. Like it's not naturally built into it, but it is so practical and such a helpful tool to be able to do it. And so breathing is an important part of playing up. The other thing that I love to do to show my students how to apply the concept is I'll bring my drum practice pad with some snare sticks, and I'm like, play down. Like, try to play down on this pad, and like you can feel the tension in your arm. That's happening on the piano. You just don't have the visual of like, if I let it play up, this is naturally going to bounce up because that's what the practice pad is built to do, is to react the way that a snare would. Just much less noise.
Very quick sidebar, this hammerhead shark centaur slaps.
Yeah, that's
Isn't he
cool.
so
Literally.
cool?
The breathing thing actually just came up in the grad seminar on yesterday.
Oh, fun.
And I was being kind of flippant about it, but I was saying, because we have a few string players in the group, and we also have a trumpet DMA, and so I was like, trumpet player, like, you get, like, breathing is a part of your training, but I was like, it was like a little bit ridiculously late in violin land, before anybody mentioned, like, thinking about a line as if I was singing it. It's almost like we have to establish all this other technique, and then it's treated as just a thing that's going to make the musicianship better. But I love how you're saying, like, no, it actually helps you avoid the tension, right? Like, it allows you to execute the line. It is technique, and so often it is not focused, because violin, it's like, oh, well, if you make your bow change invisible, you can just play forever. You don't need to breathe, right? And having a teacher actually focus on breath is life-changing.
Well, because it's so central to how your body processes anything that you do, right? Like, when we listen to music, the sound waves interact with our physiology in a way that physically moves the inside of our body, right?
Yeah.
Breath is doing that every second you breathe. Your breath is interacting with your physiology in a way that moves everything inside of your body. And so if you have this understanding about how the breath interacts with everything else that you do, this is why meditation is so good for you. But a lot of people are like, oh, I can't meditate. It's like, but you do already, even if you're not focusing on it. Like listening to music, playing this video game. Like, I don't know about you, but when I play video games, I like physically respond to the video game. My husband laughs at me all the time. Like, if I need to move to the right, I'm moving the joysticks to the right, but I'll also kind of
you
like,
also kind of
to the right
do the lean.
Like, I
in a
do
racing
that
game, you're like
without-
kind of like, let me help.
I do that all the time without realizing it, and he just laughs at me so much.
I do that
And
when
I'm
I park my car.
Yeah.
I'm just like
Sure.
parking in a spot, and I'm like,
Come on.
Yeah.
Stick the landing. But if you look at any sport, any form of athleticism, the way that they breathe is the foundation for how they are able to perform their sport. Right? And it should not be any different than I love these moments in the game. It's so beautiful.
Forever.
May
Yeah,
your
where you
memories
find
live on
the
forever.
androids. Yeah.
For those who come after.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So good. So yeah, so being able to understand where is your breath right now. Like, I love watching my students turn from, like, they progress from complete and utter confusion when I ask that question to eventually learning how to ground themselves and actually perceive how their breath is leading them in what they are playing right now or not. Because it's just such an empowering thing to be able to recognize, how am I approaching what I am doing? And what can I do? What am I doing that's getting in the way of me performing to how I want to perform? And I really feel like before anything else, before how your fingers touch the keys, your breath should come first. And so like when we do our recitals and our performances, we practice. I'm like, okay, you've practiced your song and you'll still practice your song, but now I want you for the next couple of weeks, you're going to practice performing your song. And that means you're going to step to the other side of the room, and then you're going to walk up to the piano the same way that you'll walk up to the piano in the venue, and you're going to sit down and you know that you're performing. And then you're going to breathe. And then you're going to listen for the song that you're about to play. You haven't started playing yet, but you're going to listen for it, because whatever we hear or what we try to hear, your body will do everything it can to try to reproduce that sound. And so you breathe, you listen, and then you start playing. And that is how you create a foundation for a performance that you are in tune with and are able to relax into in a way that you will be able to magnify your own artistry instead of being subjected to whatever reactions of stress or anything else that you might be feeling in your body when you're performing in front of people, which is a scary thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the foundation of chamber music is learning how to listen, right? Like, and learning how to breathe together is a huge part of the training that I did with my string quartet. My ride or dies.
Music stuff.
Yeah.
One of my favorite vocal teachers, before we did any singing warm-ups, we would do breathing warm-ups together as an ensemble. And it was the best. It was the coolest experience because you would really not only get into tune to how you were breathing, but how the people around you were breathing. And then when you started singing together, you were able to maintain like that kind of proprioception, but with your voice. Like proprioception being how your body relates to the space around you, you know, but almost like being able to see how does your voice fit in the space around you.
Yeah.
Nice.
And doing that collectively.
The road is
Like,
submerged.
there's a reason why
I know.
singing has been a tribal need for millennia.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, I'll never forget being in a high school chamber orchestra playing the Barber Adagio for strings, and like if we couldn't breathe together, that piece does not happen, right? And the truest test of that was we took it to, you know, like state contest where you get judged, and our conductor walked off the stage. She was like, "You're on your own. Treat it like chamber music. You can do it." And we did.
Whoa.
And the best part is when we got the tapes back from the judges, all of them were like, "Uh-oh," because they thought like something had gone wrong.
Yeah.
She did that as a flex to be like, no, my chamber orchestra is this good. But it was also like a moment for all of us to kind of realize, no, we had been working on this. And that's also the panic of like, oh, we don't have her now. We better like lock in, right?
Yeah.
That is a crazy flex. My goodness.
One of the best performances I think I've ever participated in. Like,
That's so
it's
cool.
really orchestrally. I have a top 3 for sure, and that's definitely in there. There was also a Cleveland Orchestra Youth Orchestra performance of Petrushka, where like we had not been playing it well. We even had a master class with Pierre Boulez on it, and that didn't even get it where it needed to be, and we were like constantly not where we needed. And then we finally had like a run out concert where it worked, and the conductor just leaned forward and he was like, bravo, and we were all like, oh, we did it.
That is the best feeling. It was the best feeling. So, and it reminds me of when I was in marching band in high school. I was playing in the pit in the front ensemble, and the guy that our band director got to write and arrange the pit front ensemble part of what we were playing was just a really interesting guy to bring on to a high school marching band thing, because he was definitely like a huge professional, but the way that he would write is he would go to a cabin up in Vale, get drunk, and then write the music. Like, that was his process. And so he couldn't play half of what he was asking us as high school students to be able to play. Now, I have since learned the very frustrating truth that just because you wrote it doesn't mean that you can automatically play it. Even though I know exactly where all the notes are, writing and playing are 2 completely separate skills. But at the time, I did not know that. And I just thought that he was being a boob and absolutely hated it. And every single time, the letter D, orchestra rehearsal letter D, was the hardest part of the entire suite. Every single time. It got the nickname the D-lick because it was just constant moving notes. Everyone is moving notes. It was really hard. One of the years, the D-lick was unison for 12 bars, 16th notes across. We had 2 marimbas with 2 people per marimba, 2 vibes, and a xylophone. And we were all supposed to be unison in this really hard, complicated lick. And gosh, it was so frustrating. I'm like, there's one. He was like, no, that's wrong. And we're like, then you do it. And of course he couldn't do it. And he was like, it's not that, like,
Adam.
you're the ones who are supposed to do it. Blah, 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 blah. So
Very surprised.
we're competing, we're going to our marching band competitions, and
Back in the colony,
we
learned that
we
everyone
fumbled
on Earth was
that
completely
spot
wiped
every
out.
time. We knew how to get back on,
Sure, it must
which
have
is another
seemed
important
that way.
skill when performing is
Yeah.
when you fall off, you got to get back on as soon as possible.
Then
How do you do that?
there are other
But
survivors out there.
we
Like you.
made it to state, which we made it to state competition
Yes.
every year that I was there,
That's great to see.
which in Colorado was really fun
Earth
because
is
state
still
was
pretty
held at Mile High
inhospitable to
Stadium.
humans.
Oh,
So
nice.
cool.
Awesome.
So cool.
That's so much better than
Extremely-
Illinois, where we just went to Peoria, this town that smells like bus exhaust. All right.
Yeah, extremely intimidating, but so cool to like walk on stage from like the locker room area, like back where the like football teams come on to from, you know, all the stuff or whatever. Well, state competition, one of our floor judges had judged one of our previous shows, so he knew when the D-Lick was going to happen, and he knew that we messed up on that multiple times because he had judged us before. And so
Where's the
he
transportation device?
comes and stands
Try
maybe
activating the
3
spotlight
feet in
panel.
front of us, a couple measures before, and just folded his arms and stood
There is
there
no
to
power.
watch that part.
No worries.
And
Let's
we
check the power control room
nailed
under the
it.
stairs.
It was like the
That's
first
awesome.
time that we were in sync and we did it, and all we get from him is in the microphone, nice, moving to the drum line. We're
We'll
like,
have to reorganize the
yes,
code
but
in
you
order to
can't,
restore
like,
power.
you can't celebrate too much at the time because then you get off of what you need to be doing next and you can't do that. But like, it was the best feeling ever. Probably another top performance of mine was not a performance per se, it was another judging. This was when I was doing piano competitions, and it's the worst I've ever played a Bach fugue. I got so lost. Like, I don't even know what I'm playing anymore. I'm just playing notes while my brain is trying to like frantically figure out where can I pick up this fugue, because fugues are so hard to pick up if you lose the line. And I don't know how long I was doing that for. It felt like forever, but this is like a competition where you walk in, the panel of judges is there, you hand them your music that has each measure numbered so that they can notate exactly which notes you missed,
That's
that
great.
you missed, and exactly where the
Try
mistakes
activating the
were,
monorail
so that they
panel
can
again.
judge like by the letter of the page, right? Like
Uh-huh.
and so like I obviously what's the point now, but I'm going to finish, and I did pick it up and somehow finish, and I was like, that's the worst I've ever played in my
Something
life.
is heading
Um,
away.
And
It's the
they
monorail.
chose to give me the
This
honorable
ancient
mention
electronic
prize,
device
which was organ
is
lessons,
our
which is how I
transport.
started learning to play the organ. And I was like,
All right, then.
you've got to be kidding me.
After
I
you.
was for sure the worst person who came into your room today. And they were like, yeah, but we've never seen someone
Recover
flop
like
so
that.
bad and keep going. And you recovered and you finished. And that was so impressive to us that, yeah, you should get this. And I was like, oh, sometimes failing is like a good stepping stone.
Yeah,
But like that is
totally.
like so burned into my memory. When my students are like, oh, I'm gonna mess up, I'm like, yeah, you will.
Eve,
You
are
just
you
have to
alright?
say, oh, hello, mistake. Thanks for stopping by. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna keep playing. Like,
Yeah,
Just remembering
I talk to
something
my
from
mistakes
yesterday.
a lot.
I
You
love
have to
that.
talk to your successes too, but you just have to. They become friends
City
because they're gonna be there no matter what.
So
My mom
lonesome.
started learning how to play the piano when she was
That's
in
what
her
happens when the
40s.
city becomes
Because she had put me and my 4 sisters through piano, and she was like, wait, now I can do it, because most of us
What are you going
were
to
out
do
of the
after
house.
you defeat
Um,
Alpha and T-Bone?
And when she would start performing,
All airborne
I'd call her
squad
and be like,
members
hey mom, how'd it
successfully
go? Like,
on
I'm in
purpose.
college as a piano performance major, but I'm
All we
like
must
calling my
do
mom to see how her
is
recital
complete the
went.
mission.
Oh, it was fine. I made 14 mistakes.
Extinction
I'm
of
like,
all
Mom,
natives,
you have
right?
to stop counting your
They think
mistakes
that
when they
the point of
happen.
their
You have to
existence is
stop. You
snuff out
can't do
another
that to
species.
yourself. Because if you made 14
No
mistakes,
fun in that.
how many correct things did you do?
Right.
You're not counting those. And
Yeah.
those are the parts that matter.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna like you need to be able to say, did that, moving on to the next right thing. Like you can't just
Do you want to get off?
She figured it out and she learned it. She got way better at it. But it was really interesting to watch that learning happen.
Our training focuses so much on mistakes, right? Like lessons. How often is it? I mean, maybe a teacher's trying to compliment Sandwich a little bit, but like for the most part, they're focusing on like what's next, you know.
Yep.
This is the next thing to fix, right? Like it kind of some of them, especially if you have really harsh ones, think it's a waste of time to focus too much on the good, but it's really hard to shake that because like that's a lot of our training is like you have to learn how to isolate and diagnose, right? And do all of that.
Weirdly,
One of
even
my
on the
favorite-
research side of music, my dissertation advisor is infamous for saying, don't write that people did well. Don't praise people. People don't want that. Spoilers. That's actually wrong. One of the few things that Peter has been ever wrong about in my life.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be told they're good. That's how the world works.
Yes. Well, and everyone wants a reason to celebrate.
And I will note that my dissertation advisor is like the kindest, coolest person in all of musicology.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So I don't want to make him sound like an absolute jerk. What he really means is always have something to say. Don't just say something somebody is good because you feel like being nice, right?
I feel like I agree with him to the extent that a lot of times praise feels insufficient if you're somebody that's trying to improve, right? Like it's a little empty if you're like, okay, but what else? Like it should be like
especially if somebody is far enough along in their training, whether this is as researcher, as speaker, as performer, you know when you messed up. You don't need somebody to be nice about it. Sometimes you need honesty.
Right.
Especially from somebody you trust and have a relationship where you can receive honesty. There's also times I don't know you well enough. Please just tell me I did good and hand me my drink and move on. Right? But like
yeah.
Well, I think it also comes down to also just being able to, you did well, okay, but why? Like if you're trying to have that intellectual complexity of what is improvement, you also have to know what is good. Why was that good? And you know, a lot of it comes down to listening. Like what are you hearing? What did you miss, right? Like I love celebrating. I try to do this for myself too, but it's a lot easier to do it for my students because I'm on the outside. But I love celebrating the first time you get to the end of a song. The first time you play it from beginning to end, because it is so crappy. It's so bad. It doesn't sound good. It's not easy. It's so choppy. It's so bad. But we made it to an ending that you hadn't made it to before. And that is exciting because that shows where progress is happening. And then you get to a point where it's like, where I'll sit back and they'll have played the whole song for me. And I go, how did you feel about that? And I've had, there was one student that I had before who hated when I asked that question. They're like, no, you're supposed to tell me. And I'm like, I'm not the artist. I'm not the one currently performing. You have to be able to figure out what you feel about it because otherwise you can't make intentional choices. About how you want to play the music. Like the idea that something has to be performed exactly only one way because it's written on a page and people have decided that that's what it sounds like does a disservice to the potential that music has to be alive. And so I'm like, if you want to make intention, like you'll get a kick out of this. I had a student who wanted to learn how to play Clair de Lune. Debussy. Gorgeous. Awesome. One of the most well-known pieces in classical piano.
Yeah, I think those pieces are hard to play, actually.
Yes. Very, very, technically very difficult. For sure.
No, but not like the Debussy piece. Like, well-known pieces are harder to play, I think, than more obscure pieces.
Because people bring, like, the weight of expectation because they know how it goes. Yeah.
And you yourself know how it's supposed to sound, and there's a huge gap of cognitive dissonance between how it's supposed to sound and how you sound while playing it, and that can get discouraging very easily.
Oh,
so,
rats. Sorry.
Oh, I got you.
Right.
Die.
Die.
These guys are so cool looking though.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
So he wanted to learn how to play that song, but he did not like how WSID wrote some of it. And he's like, I don't like this. I'm gonna change this. I don't like this. I want to play it this way. I think I should play it this way instead. And I was like, okay. I will let you play it however you want, but you have to learn it as written first.
Right.
Learn to play it exactly as it's written, and then you get to explain to me and make the case for why you should play it different. Because there has to be intention behind it. It can't just be, oh, because I want to. Or because I like
because
this
I can't do what's on the page, right? Like.
Right. And he was more than capable.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are more than capable to be able to play exactly what's on this page, exactly the way that I tell you to do it, exactly the way that people would expect for it to be played. So if you want it to be more of an improv piece, you have to learn it this way first, and then you have to tell me why you're making that choice. And he was annoyed, but he did it, and it was really fun. He did a really good job. And then he graduated high school and went away to college, but I was still teaching his sister, and he came back the week that we were having our piano recital, and I was like, would you want to come and play in the recital as an alum? Like, you could totally do that. That would be really fun. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure, I could probably. I was like, let me know if you want any help with whatever you want to prepare for it, but I'm fine with whatever you choose to play. And he basically just came and was like, I'm going to play what I remember from Claire de Lune.
Oh, no.
He didn't have the music, and he just showed up and vamped on Claire de Lune. It was so fun. But I'm like, man, my professors would have stopped me after 5 measures.
Yeah.
No, that's not allowed. But I'm like, man, the guts to say I'm gonna take this super well-known piece that everybody knows from one of the best composers of the 20th century and just play it how I feel like in front of other people. Like, it was fun.
That's pretty empowered, for sure. We had a lot of brides requesting it for String Trio in the past year, and that I don't like, because I don't like it on String Trio, let me tell you.
Interesting. What do you dislike about it?
Generally, wedding gig playing is not groups that get together and rehearse. It is a different group every time. And like, yeah, it's like the same couple dozen musicians that I play with over and over. So like, there's people that I have more and less rapport with. But I think a lot of brides don't realize, like, this isn't some standing group that rehearses every week. So like, there is no rubato that can very organically happen unless I have my absolute, like, ride or die players with me. Everybody else, like, you can breathe all you want, but they're just trying to read what's on the page. They're usually sight reading. And so it just doesn't have that, like, organic push and pull that it does when a single person is playing it on piano. And it would if we rehearsed it, but that's just not what gig playing is, you know?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So there is a trio that I'm like, when we have done it, it has been okay. I still haven't loved it because we haven't like done enough rehearsing on it to like really plan out stuff. But there are a lot of groups where I'm just like, keep it pretty metronomic and just
you
do your best.
Theta.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, I love this area that you're in right now in the game, Ryan.
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah,
I also
really
like
interesting area.
A lower pitched female voice. I feel like we very often emphasize like a big soaring soprano. And I say this like one of the industry's most well-known soaring sopranos is one of my best friends in the field. I'm not dunking on anybody specifically here. But this sounds like something like the track we're hearing now where the voice comes in and out intermittently every once in a while. this sounds like a more breathy tone that feels physically more proximate to you. And not this younger tone right here. But if we would let the music go by another 4 minutes, it shifts down about a fourth. And that sounds like, if anybody has heard Gilla Versa in like a breathy low register, she's capable of that. And I really like when she has the space in the music she's commissioned to do to use that pitch range of her voice, which I actually like a little bit more than some of her high material.
I love how this game, throughout the soundtrack, like, uses the different textures of the voice the way that you would play with the different textures of any instrument.
Yeah.
Like, on a string instrument, you can create multiple different textures with the bow and, like, where you are placed in the string. Like, all of the different places.
I've never seen
I
such a
theoretically know about all of that. I'm not a string player, so I know that maybe you can, like, explain that a lot better
You
than
are
I
not
can.
wrong.
But just being able to create these textures, it's not just a one single sound.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that in different ways with other instruments also. Just string instruments are very, like, I think a very prominent example of how that happens. And sometimes it's really easy to view the voice as a singular dimension of, like, this is what voice is. But this game really highlights the many different aspects and nuances of what voice texture can be as an instrument.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab another water. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm working on this in my chapter for the gender book, which is very exciting. Doing some work on the timbre of wordless female vocals as a signifier of stuff. So I got to get back to that this week. So I'm very excited to do that. But
That
it's
sounds very
it's
cool.
definitely focusing on things that where you don't get distracted by the meaning of the words. You're really focusing on, like, the open melismas, right? Where it's just that.
Yeah. But even within, like, one person's voice, there's a whole lot of different tones you can choose to produce, right? Like, how much of the breathiness is there? How much nasality is there in the tone of the voice you're putting out there?
Yeah.
Right? And the easiest way I do this to explain to people who are not particularly singers is if you go to a standard, like, mainstream Catholic or Protestant church service where they sing hymns, and you listen to the congregation sing, and I'm talking about untrained musicians who are intuiting this here, they will always sing verse 1 differently than they sing verse 2 when the organist is playing. And it's not because the organist switches stops. It's because they understand intuitively that you get quieter in verse 2 in specific types of ways and get loud again in verse 3 when the big lyrical moment happens and arrives. And it helps that the organ is kind of slowly steering you there also, right? Like, all the stops come out for the last verse of the piece in a way that it doesn't for those interstitial verses.
Yeah.
But it's a vocal timbre thing first.
But it's contextual, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sort of doing in my work, is talking about the contexts in which these different timbres are deployed and the historical reasons why certain types of voices are heard in different places.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So I'm excited to get back into that because there's been about 5-6 years of new games that have come out to pull on since I, did that work the first time. So I've got new case studies that I can pull in as more recent examples. So I'm excited for that.
Fun. That's awesome. Yeah, I think thinking too about, again, kind of that proprioception of your voice, like how the timbre of your voice changes when you put it in a different direction. If you're singing forward, if you're singing up, if you're kind of singing back or down, like the different ways that you use your voice can change how you interact with the other textures and sounds that are happening around you. Something I really love about this game too is, like, a lot of times when games have vocals, the voice is the main instrument, right? Whenever the voice is happening, that is what we're listening to. That is where our perception should be. That's our focus, right? But this game has a lot of songs where voice is happening, but it is the supporting instrument to the piano or to the strings. And it is viewed as like a true member of the ensemble instead of the soloist out in front with everything else behind it. And I find that to be such a unique use of voice in games in this way.
And maybe up. Sorry, I'm still listening. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going while we talk.
Orchestration. You know, where the voice fits in the overall orchestration. But most of the time, the kinds of things that I'm focusing on have to do less with orchestration and more to do with range and vibrato, and overall timbre, and just what those specific kinds of voice types perpetuate. Because it happens all the time. It's like the older voice.
Can I climb this scaffold?
With the big operatic vibrato is always a sign of danger. You know, always something going wrong or loss, drama. But the youthful soprano voice is wistfulness and childhood and longing and nostalgia and ancientness. And that just happens constantly. And that's why it's exciting to focus on things that don't have text, because then those same timbres you can extrapolate out and then look at what the meanings of the words are in texted examples and see how that does or does not play out if the text can support or subvert that. But just the timbre alone tends to have a very consistent usage.
That's very interesting. Do you find that is there equal ability to do that if it's in a different language that you don't understand? Like to extrapolate meaning, but without knowing the language?
Yeah, I think so, because it happens with Latin a lot, and a lot of folks don't really know Latin. But also in, like, you know, Orcish or Dragon or whatever, you know, fantastic languages that are made up, it happens there too. I think that it's pretty consistent across the board. And it's just because of where all those vocal tropes have come from in Western art music, for games that are coming from that side of the sphere, right? I'd be
really interested in you like doing a little like cross-cultural moment for sort of like different linguistic traditions.
I love this clock. Sorry, sidebar.
All, but,
right.
But also trying to really be clear about like the origins of the game's music, and because there are probably different cultural stereotypes or tropes that are in play that I may not be familiar with. So I'm definitely trying to be very clear that I'm like, this is like a Western-centric kind of study that I'm trying to restrict to that kind of milieu, right? I don't want to go and, you know, colonialize all the rest of the game musicians out there that are maybe playing on different ideas that I'm not familiar with.
So I keep speaking to, I'm going to jump us back to the game here for a minute because we have a new piece. I keep pinging off of like different compositional ideas from different people who are not these composers, who I'm unfamiliar with. So I'm going to do it one more time here. The rhythm that we just heard and is now since faded into the background because the game assumes I'm going to get into combat and we're entering like there it is again though. This is like a Matoi Sakuraba moment where we're traversing. It's not quite a world map theme because this game doesn't do that. But it's that idea that we're on the move now.
Yeah, this isn't a place where you just stay.
Right. And again, isn't a little bit of the Sakuraba like recall for you the timbre of that bass?
Maybe, and the like, piano as well.
Right, like a little bit.
Okay.
Definitely the rhythm of the bass, for sure.
Could this be connected to the clock tower?
Oh no, I have to become smart. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, that breathing conversation, that sort of thing has been very front of mind. So I started trauma therapy back in 2023, which everyone here has heard me go on about. It's been life-changing and wonderful. I love EMDR. But one of the things that was kind of like I was getting in my own way and getting in my own head about was, being told to take a breath, or like do any deep breathing. And one of my like somatic activation symptoms is that I would feel like if my like windpipe or my airway was like a hallway, there was almost like an obelisk or a monolith, something like in the way that like the breath would hit it and not be able to get all the way around. And so I felt like I was never able to take a deep breath. And I would get really self-conscious about that. Like, I feel like I don't know how to breathe. I don't know how to breathe. I'm doing it wrong. I'm not doing it right.
Watch out.
And some of the stuff we've been working on recently has not had that specific symptom. And so I was noticing, like, I'm sort of able to breathe in this memory in a way I haven't in some of the other ones.
Okay?
And my therapist was talking about, like, I always wondered, like, the extent to which that was, like, psychosomatic versus truly somatic. And, like, because you're a musician, she's like, you've made jokes about violinists not being told how to breathe, but, like, you are taught how to breathe in a way that most people are never doing that kind of metacognition about. So she's like, I feel like it may be a little bit like you may think you're breathing wrong, but you're actually not, and you're fine.
Yeah.
Like your standard for breathing correctly may not even be possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been
sorry.
thinking about that a lot.
I know it's
That
the
is
time on the
very
clock
interesting.
tower. I had to figure out how to go see it again.
Oh, okay.
But that's up here, right?
No, you need to go back to where you came in. Or maybe you can see it from here. It's behind that wall that you were facing.
Yeah, behind this wall, right? Can I see it through the window up there?
Oh, maybe. Oh no, it's above the wall. Look up higher. Go back and look up higher.
Oh, perfect.
There it is.
It is 12:35. Let's try that.
12:25, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah. Dankeschön.
yeah, it's a no, I'm not a therapist, but I work with a lot of survivors in the music industry, and I've had to learn that one of the worst things that you can ever do when someone is activated is to tell them to calm down.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Please don't do that.
I can see the Hall of Records.
But if they're
We're
in a
almost
place
there.
where they can receive guidance from you or want to receive guidance from you, I'll ask them, do you want to feel your breath in your belly, or do you want to feel your breath in your chest, or do you want to feel your breath in your nose? Because some people have a trigger aversion to where their breath can feel in different places of their body depending on what their experience has been in their trauma. So to tell someone just to take a deep breath is not as helpful as it might feel.
It's like situating it in a specific locality.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like a friend of mine, she has to work up to deep belly breaths. She has to start with just feeling the breath right here on the top of her lip. And when she focuses there, then she's able to get to a place where she's like, okay, now I can start feeling my breath in my neck and my shoulders.
It like
And
slowly
then-
works down.
And then slowly work down, because if she goes straight to the belly, it will trigger a lot of her fear with whatever is happening in her amygdala at the time because of what she experienced. And so again, it's that idea that my experience of how I feel breath in my body isn't going to be the same as how somebody else experiences breath in their body, and how giving everybody the opportunity that they need to have. The biggest thing with trauma is the removal of agency. So healing trauma starts with being given agency, or being able to act as an agent to yourself. And so just even the choice of where do I want to feel my breathing, that's something I get to decide about my body.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, if we want to get into like how to support survivors, we can totally do that in this. I will not shut up about it, but we don't have to go that direction in this.
You're always posting beautiful things about that. I love seeing like your shares and and of course what the Safety League is posting as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just awesome resources for everybody. But yeah, it's been really interesting that I gave my talk at GameSoundCon this past year on the Hellblade games, and when I was going to work on them when the first one came out, I had planned to just talk about like the auditory and visual hallucinations and the schizoaffective disorder side of it. And then I came back to it in 2024 and I went, oh, I have a trauma reading of this game that like kind of nobody has really talked about the games. They'll mention trauma kind of in passing, but they're always more interested in the other stuff. And why not? It's like very well done. You know, it's very thoughtfully done with folks that have those experiences. It's like
quick note.
accurate.
Sorry for interrupting. This is just a side area with that bonus thing. I need to leave.
Yeah. But that was like it unlocked the whole paper because I was like, oh, I think I want to just focus on the trauma right now. And that was the whole thing. And I was like, and now I've actually done EMDR. And like that completely shaped how I did it. And I have been so like grateful I did it because years before that, it's like I've done cognitive behavioral therapy before, and like I have those tools. I like had that homework. I knew about my little journaling exercises and like all the things I could cognitively try. But you know, it's all that body keeps the score. Like you can hit it with your rational feeling stick all you want, and recognize like it may help a little bit in the moment, but it's not like actually changing anything. So you have to have that like bottom up approach to trauma as opposed to the top down like rational. You can't think your way out of it. You can't intellectualize your way out of it. Mm-hmm. You have to kind of like meet the body where it's at and sort of help it to reintegrate so that it isn't going into that state every time. And like that's been really interesting because anybody who's like in academia, you know, we're so used to intellectualizing.
Yeah.
And it can be really hard to like live in the body, even as musicians, right?
Or even as an artist, it's really easy to just kind of create your way around it or out of it, like kind of compartmentalize in a way where it's like this is this part of me and this is my creative part of me. Like it's really easy to do that. But yeah, one of the like best ways to visualize kind of what you're talking about is if this is my brain, right? This is my brain, this is my brainstem, and the amygdala is the first thing that the brainstem hits, and then you have your prefrontal cortex, right? It's a super simplified version of what the brain is and what it is capable of, but yeah, you do go up that wall, I think, Ryan.
I do think so. Correctly. Thank you for helping me flounder, by the way.
Yeah, this part I think I got stuck in forever also, which is why I remember.
Yeah, here. Yeah. Okay.
And then turn to the right real fast, and up there is the door that you couldn't open from the outside, up the hill.
It's not letting me. It's taking control.
Oh, because it's making you go to memory talk. It's a cool new place.
Yeah.
Ooh, cool new like descending
like
piano melody too.
Like metal obelisk.
Mm-hmm. That you end up going into the basement of.
Andrew in chat, you can't intellectualize your way out of trauma. Me, watch me try and fail. sounds like a lot of.
The reason why you can't is because everything that you experience has to go through your brainstem first. That is how our brain processes things. It goes through the brainstem first, which means that it processes through the amygdala first. The amygdala is where our trauma responses live, right? Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And so if something goes through there that triggers that, that's going to be what is focused on first before your prefrontal cortex can even stop and think, wait, this is actually fine. This is not a danger to me, right? That's why when the fridge makes a scary noise, you jump and like wonder what's going on before you're like, that's just my refrigerator, right? Because everything is processed through that first. And so when you realize that, you're able to have more compassion for yourself and for your responses, and to realize that these are perfectly normal responses to what were abnormal circumstances in the context of trauma. That's something that shouldn't have, and it's also not the event. The event is not the trauma. What happened inside of your body is what creates that trauma. Like a good example to kind of show that is me and my sister, when we were kids in San Francisco at a pond feeding geese, and a goose started chasing us, and I was like, ha ha ha, it's a goose. And then my sister was like, ah, it's a goose, and she is still scared of geese to this day, right? Like, we had the exact same external circumstances, but what happened inside of us was so different that it created a different response, both of which are normal responses. Neither of them is better or worse than the other one. And so this is why you can't play Trauma Olympics. There are no Trauma Olympics. There's no, what happened to me isn't as bad as what happened to them. And there's also no, well, why is that such a big deal? That's not that big of a deal. Why are you making such a big deal out of it, right? That's the wide spectrum of what people try to do to compare trauma and what is or is not good enough to be considered a reason to respond in those ways. Which is why believing everybody's story is so important. This is something that video games teach us. It's great. I love it. And like, Hellblade did a great job of showing that even though everything she didn't experience was real, it was still completely reasonable for her to respond the way that she did. And that she should not be faulted for that. But so the way that you do it, instead of intellectualizing it, it's through connection.
Yeah, relational healing is huge.
Healing happens in communities, especially since trauma is magnified in isolation. If you feel like you're alone, it's going to be way worse than if you had the insulation of being like, this person cares for me in this moment, even though this moment's really bad.
Yeah. Those in the two games really show that, because she's almost entirely isolated for all of the first game. In the second game, we start introducing actual other people instead of like arguably the entire game is maybe taking place in her mind, or we don't like, is she really in Helheim? We don't know, right? Like there's a little bit of ambiguity there intentionally, but the second game, it's like, no, there's actually people you're encountering in Iceland. Yeah, it's a really well done game. It's interesting from that perspective, but all the relational healing, it's nature, being able to like actually tell your story instead of having that sort of fragmentation that happens when you're in activation, like
this is why, okay, I'm gonna get on a high horse for just a second. This is why NDAs are one of the worst things ever to exist, because they are one of the most impactful tools for hurting and silencing survivors.
Yeah.
NDAs for don't talk about this thing that you're creating until it is released. Fine, whatever, that's okay. But most NDAs in the music
or like
industry
blanket for everything
don't apply to just that, and it is so detrimental, because then people can't share what happened to them. Which means that they're not able to speak up for themselves, removing their agency, which compounds trauma. And it means that they're not able to say things to protect other people. And so that's why the systems perpetuate abuse so much in the music and in the gaming industry. In any industry that it happens, but very poignantly in the entertainment industry as an umbrella, it is able to continue so much because NDAs are so foundational, like normalized in how we interact as a business.
I can't believe we're in the Hall of Records.
And
it's like a dream.
That is not how they should be used.
Yeah,
they are misused
100%.
dramatically. So anyways.
Can I jump us back to the game for 1 second here?
Yes, no, this part is really cool.
This looks like a specific moment in Nier Automata that was used as the basis for the Final Fantasy XIV near crossover raid.
Oh. Do I have to close my ears since I am baby Sprout in Final Fantasy XIV?
No, you're so far away from this. Like,
I'm so far away.
I don't
you will
think
forget.
there's any spoilers
I'm also not that
specifically to that.
There is a series of, it's about 3 hours of content in FF14 that's a near Automata crossover.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, how fun.
Should I play near first?
You don't have to. All you have to know is
get
that
back to 14.
all you have to know, honestly, is that 2B is the hot android. Like, that's it's story shallow on the near side. It has more to do with the consequences on the Final Fantasy side.
I was gonna say, Andrew said you've either found the architect or the 1980s Apple commercial.
Right? Yes.
Oh man,
That's good.
This room and the
That's a good
setup,
reference.
for whatever reason, always reminds me of oh gosh, what is the movie? The Tom Cruise movie where they like can see what crimes are gonna happen.
Minority Report.
Thank you, Minority Report. This just like has those vibes.
Yes.
Mankind's past was buried with the final war.
Also, it has the tone of voice from a stock British female AI assistant who's designed to placate you and make you feel cozy. Right? Like,
Is this what
Andra.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You can extract it from
Where's
the
Andra when you need her?
Where's Andra when we need her?
I have like 1 more minute in me, and then I gotta go to bed.
Great.
No worries.
yeah, I think
Long
after we
after
clear out
we're
this
over.
room,
We're over time. We're just
we will
like digging
call
the
it for the night.
conversation.
Yeah, me too. I've been holding on.
I have a feeling there's a boss fight coming right here. Like, from just a ludic perspective, it feels like boss fight time. But we'll see. I really thought I wouldn't leave that room without one, so.
We got it. The hypercell.
There's one right around the corner if you go around the corner.
Okay.
This is going to do a lot of good.
If I'm remembering correctly.
I'm gonna go ahead and tap out so I can go to bed. But it was so nice seeing you, Karina. Nice to meet you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Good night, Karen.
Good night, folks.
then
If you both can stay up another 5 minutes, I'll finish this whole sequence out here.
Sure.
Of course.
I'm good.
It isn't fun.
I mean, I think you guys are
I
later
was
than
gonna
I
say
am.
it's earlier for you, right?
That's right, you're
It's
2
only
hours
9
behind us. Are
o'clock.
you mountain time? Yeah.
Mountain time.
I was just actually on the phone with somebody else from the game audio industry in Utah to both get a little bit of advice for myself, but primarily, what do I pass on to students about how to attend GDC effectively in 2 weeks? Because the number one question everybody on the faculty for game development in Michigan State has been getting this week is, how do I make what amounts to $1,500 worth my investment to go?
Don't expect to get a job this time.
Well, first of all, it's a very fair question to ask from the student
It
perspective.
is a very fair question to ask. It's very, very fair.
It totally did warrant me giving a 45-minute talk on it earlier this evening. That's what I was running late. I don't know if Dana reached out to you or told you that I was running late, but that's what I was running home from, is that talk.
Oh yeah, I just hopped on the call. I was like ready to go, but you were back. You were back in time.
I was.
I didn't have office hours tonight, so I was like extra ready on time.
Nice.
I had
So,
them
like,
on
what-
Tuesday instead. So
But the talk came down to 3 different things. First of all,
Yes.
GDC specifically, and I said sponsored talks are different than regular talks. You should be wary of how many sponsored time slots you go to,
yeah.
because a lot of those people are out to sell you something, not to build relationships with you. And like, if it's specifically the exact thing you want to do, it's not like there's not useful information there, but it's not, you're going to meet someone who's going to change the course of your career at one of those, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like normal talks, which is to say they're vetted, they go through multiple rounds of prep. Ooh, God, that actually killed me. Great, I'm the best. I will revive and do this again while I talk.
You died.
Right? You should feel
Just like
bad about it.
Just like a Souls game.
Anyway, and those talks are all awesome. You should go to some of those, right?
Go up. turn around and go up the wall.
Thank you. And especially the ones in Newbury Halls, but also learn something about other disciplines and be conversant with other people, because that's what networking is.
Yeah.
Learn how to look like a competent musician in front of computer programmers, and if you're a computer programmer, don't be the person the musicians gossip about later. P.S. There are those people, and we do. Do I have to go downstairs and do the whole rigmarole again, I guess?
No, you just go straight through and you'll see.
Here it is. Yeah. Okay. And
oh, this track is so good.
Right, so very metal. But anyway, the GDC specific things of how to navigate it, right? And then there was, what is networking? And I was like, networking does not mean you get a job. You're not going to get discovered and be offered a job or some nonsense. And that's true.
It's such a transactional view of a relationship. And that's why I hate networking. Like, ultimately, it should be about, like, life enrichment and fulfillment, right? Like, my relationships come kind of before any professional opportunities they have afforded me. But then, like, yeah, the close, like, actual genuine relationships you develop can turn into those things. But, like, that shouldn't be the goal in developing them, right?
No.
Right, but a lot of people, and it's not the fault of the students, feel so much pressure about needing to find work right now in an industry moment when not a lot of work is available, frankly. And I told them that straight up.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the moment in the industry, is that if you hear a story about, oh, I just wandered into a conversation and got offered a job at the end of it, that's not happening in 2026. I'm so sorry. That's just not how it works right now. But it is easy to approach this from a transactional perspective, right? And Rachel Robeson actually talked to me about this a couple days ago.
Robeson is the best.
She's the Utah musician I called for advice.
She's great. She lives
mentorship on this.
15 minutes that way from me.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. I didn't know you were that close.
Yeah.
She rules.
She's fantastic. And one of the best people to talk to about this.
Yes, absolutely.
You chose wisely.
And she came up with this lovely framing that I passed along to the students with some credit. And that you should never approach networking as, what can this new person do for me? That comes with lots of time and relationship building. In the short term, it's, what small kindness can I provide this person to make their day better? Right? And sometimes that is, you can give your attention fully. It's wildly rare for me, even to you all on the call. I am playing a complicated video game while I'm talking to you. I've not actually looked over at your faces on Microsoft Teams in like 10 minutes, right? You can give yourself completely, attention-wise, to a conversation and be impactful, because it's so rare, today especially, to provide somebody your full enraptured attention. Right? And people remember those moments. They both receive that and give it. You can tell somebody, like, if you found a really cool niche spot where you had an amazing taco or an amazing fish thing. We're in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know where the good spots to eat are, and you're in line with a whole bunch of people all the time.
Yeah.
That's your conversation starter, and I promise you every single person there has to figure out where they're eating their next meal.
Yeah.
Right?
One of my favorites is asking, if you're at the beginning of a talk, like about to go into a talk, is, what makes you so excited about this talk to come to it? Like, I want to understand your enthusiasm for what we're about to listen to, because that's going to open my perspective to things that I probably didn't think about when listening to this talk. I know why I'm excited, but why are you excited to be here? What do you hope to get out of it? And then hopefully there's room for follow-up after of, what is like a single takeaway that you're going to take from this? Like, how are you going to apply what we just heard after the conference?
And
because those are things that impact you and them beyond that moment.
Absolutely. The other thing is, everybody, and admittedly, I did this my first conference trip. I had business cards as well. First off, in the gaming industry in particular, you have to have business cards. Everybody has them. That's the standard unit of exchange in our world at conferences. You need business cards for yourself. Figure that out. You have 2 weeks. Staples will print you 200 business cards for $20. You don't need fancy business cards, but you got to be able to both receive and hand somebody a card. That's just the way it is.
I just got my new ones in the mail the other day. I'm excited.
I am waiting till this fall. The next time I see you in person, probably, Karina, if you're not at... Oh, wait, no, you're at GDC, you said?
Yeah, I'm running
Okay,
the
California
Gang
Pizza
Awards.
Kitchen, we're definitely going to see each other.
Yeah.
But
Well,
for
and
Game Sound
you'll
Con...
be at the Gang Awards.
Yes, I will be. I am up for a big promotion over the summer. Like, it's all been submitted. It's been approved at the department level, but has to go through, like, all the corporate chains to get it taken care of. I'm waiting to print the new business cards until I can put the new title on the business cards for me.
That is totally fair.
But you should not pass out business cards to every conversation you have.
No,
with somebody.
That feels
you should
like
not
you
should
like
not ever
built on a connection.
Start a conversation with passing out of business cards. Business cards are a way to maintain connections when you have a good conversation. They are not conversation starters in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And so many people are like, I handed out all my business cards. I did a good job. And I was thinking, no, that's not a sign you did well.
Yeah.
Also, tips. When I receive somebody's business card, I immediately take my pen out and I write on the back of the business card or somewhere where I met them and what we talked about.
Smart.
Because you're going to have so many business cards at the end of the week. I'm going to look at them and be like, who is this person?
Right.
I just saw 300 people.
One of my best friends, who's actually, she joins us in the summertime on this stream, and she does church work on Thursday evenings, so she misses out usually during the liturgical year, if you will. For a number of conferences, probably a full year, I was listed in her phone as Ryan, parentheses, has the cute baby.
Yeah. He showed a picture. Like when they first met. We all met as grad students too, so we've kind of grown up together, which is really cool.
Our oldest children are a year apart, so we were both still in like we both have cute babies phase, and that's just how we met. But that's something useful to remember and jog your memory that you did in fact enjoy this conversation with this person, right? Yeah. And it's a memorable thing.
Or like if I have a question that I want to ask them after the conference, I write that down on their business card.
Yeah. That's smart.
And then something that I like, I mean, I have the front of my business card. I don't know, you're not going to be able to. There we go. Front of my business card. On the back of my business card, I have my artist statement.
Oh
it's
my
an
gosh,
I believe statement. This is what I believe about what I do and why it's important. And then I have the companies that I actually do management work for.
Yeah. I told the students for business cards, they can be simple for students. You need a name, an email address, and a link to a portfolio if that's a relevant thing for you. Right, like artists, also, visual artists, musicians have to have that. Computer programmers less so.
Right. Also, like, don't ever say you're just a student.
Right, no, that was slide 2. If you're paying $400 for a ticket to this, you're a professional now, and you've paid to be one. Yep. So start acting like it, right?
Remove the word just from your vocabulary. You are not just a student. I am not just a mom. We are not just like, Stop.
I have told them, introduce yourself like the professionals you want to be. And it's okay to tell somebody that you are a student. You don't have to lie about it or anything.
No.
But you are not an aspiring computer programmer. Remove that aspiring word from your vocabulary as well, right? Like, never say that again about yourself.
Oh, sweet, I just got a gig while we were talking.
Plenty of... Hell yes.
Sweet. And it was a day I didn't have anything else scheduled. Yes.
We love that even more.
That's awesome.
Speaking of, like, relationships with people in the field, like, amazing.
Yeah, it's like, the way that I think, I mean, I absolutely love Rachel's service-oriented perspective on networking. I think that it is very true, and I think that taking it to heart is probably one of the best choices that people could make in, their career. And a way that, additionally, that I feel about networking is that...
Yeah, let's finish this chat, by the way, but I'm going to call the game here.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Can we look at least at one more of Dana's music arrangement? We only saw
Oh my
one.
gosh.
I want to see one more.
Yes,
before we
absolutely. If Dana has more, let's do that.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll give you some options based on the titles, and you can then tell me.
Is there an
what
in-game
sounds.
sound test here that I can load stuff, or should I just do it on YouTube?
So
I don't think it's in game. The only place that I know of in the game for you to like pick different songs is at the camp. You unlock different songs that you can change the songs at camp.
Okay, do you have any of these, Dana? Because I can easily do that.
Oh, let me see.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to make use of Dana's transcriptions. I'm kind of a jerk for not remembering. Sorry, Dana.
Song of the Wanderer.
Ooh, yeah, this is a good one.
All right, let's listen for a minute here. That's Zelda's lullaby. Ba ba ba.
Da 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 da.
The blend of the strings and the voice here is really nice.
Yeah, all you're gonna get is piano here,
That's
No, that's
fine.
great.
which is fine.
It is fine.
I know nobody's like mad at me for being sick
No.
and being a little off
Well,
my
and-
game.
Again, professional pianist. I grew up on piano transcriptions. Like, I love them. I love seeing
Yeah.
how you can apply it to it.
Yes. But I'm going to mute this. We'll alt-tab
Sometimes-
out.
Yeah,
Give
sometimes you
me...
can, capture
Discord.
enough.
And I'll punch it back into the feed when Dana shares it on Discord.
Yeah, hold on. I'm zooming in a little so it's like not so tiny. Wanderer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then the third piece of it, and I hate that I had to dedicate 15 minutes of my talk to this. I despise it. But I do have to dedicate 15 minutes of my talk to this, is how to be safe and secure at industry events.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
And
Thank you
the,
for
uh,
bringing that
it's...
there.
Nobody likes doing it because it's like an awkward thing to talk with your college professor about, especially like a dude 20 years older than you.
yeah.
But absolutely it's required. And the students all laughed because the very first thing I said was, if you don't know how to have a conversation at a bar, unfortunately, that's where networking occurs because there's no non-alcoholic third spaces in the United States right now. No time to talk
Yeah.
about why that is. Just trust me, we're going to be at places where they serve alcohol. And if you can't navigate that, if you are unexperienced with that, this is the only time in your college career I'm going to tell you to go out to the bars in East Lansing and figure something out, because you do not want your first bar experience to be in San Francisco alone.
Well, first of all, you shouldn't go to a bar alone.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they're
You
on
should
the
never
buddy
do that.
system everywhere. Unless it's at a listed, hosted event, was my advice. You can go to that space
Sure.
by yourself if you don't have anybody. But you should not be out in town at a bar as opposed to a restaurant without somebody. And if you're a
Yeah.
student with no connections, private parties at unlisted locations exist at GDC, and you shouldn't be there.
Yes. 100%.
Let me know when you have my
Yes. Sorry, I'm looking at it. Let me
No
add it to the
worries.
screen here. The stream.
That's all really good advice though. Agreed. And I
Yeah.
like the time I went to GDC was with 3 dudes. So I was with Ryan, who I had met just a little bit before that.
We
And
didn't.
then he's
We
like,
did
"Wanna
not
come-
then
wanna come to
have the
San Francisco?"
relationship we have now, though. Like,
No, we
I should
didn't.
not have been on your "I trust this person with my life" list 13 years ago. Honestly,
No, but I was going with 3 dudes, and like 2 of which were like, to me, very senior scholars in the field, right? Like Will and Steve were people I looked up to. So I was like, cool,
And
Other
I'm
than
glad
that, I won't be
Yeah.
stupid. But
I'm glad that they behaved in a way that allowed you to continue to look up to them,
yes,
because
Mhm.
they
And
don't.
that has
al-
been-
like,
actually
people
been-
don't always.
that has been true, luckily, for a great deal of the men in our field.
Yes.
And it's something that I tout very, very openly and celebrate that we do have a lot of wonderful allies.
Yeah. For people who are uncomfortable in bars, my biggest tip is, if somebody invited you to go there, go in, find the person who invited you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so glad that I could be here. It's so good seeing you. They want to talk to hundreds of other people. Hundreds of people want to talk to them. It's loud, it's noisy. No one can hear you anyways. And then you can leave. because the
Yep.
person that needed to see you there saw you there, and they will remember that you were there, and that was what it was important about that moment. And then I
Yes.
don't need to be in a place that triggers my chronic pain for hours and hours and hours. I can just go and do what I need to do, and then I can leave, and I can go to other less noisy, better places.
The only professional space requirements is I did tell people they need to learn to become comfortable having a conversation in an Applebee's sized restaurant with noise.
Yeah,
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm.
that's true. All right, here's a little bit of
Yes, I wanna
Song
hear.
of the Wanderer.
Yes.
And again, the samples are what they are.
That's okay.
Also, I didn't bother to make the hand crossing pretty.
That's fine. I love the cluster chords and like how this song specifically goes back and forth between being extremely close to extremely spacious.
Yeah.
In very
It keeps,
short
like,
periods of time.
Crossing over and coming together.
Mm-hmm. And like very quickly it does that, but it doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel rushed. It actually feels extremely relaxing. Like just this breathing almost of how the music flows.
To me, it's very accordion-like. It's like the bellows coming in and out, right? Like they're coming together and they're pulling apart.
And then this chord.
Ooh, it's so tasty.
It is. It's a tasty chord. And then this chord too.
I didn't even bother to put like octave lines. Like, could I have just done that? Could I have just like hopped that up there? No. This is what I do when I'm not paying attention.
That's hilarious. I love it.
It's so funny though. It's funny. Look, a friend of mine who's a performer, she actually was in a rehearsal today of and they were handed their music, and I think she's a violin or a violist or something like that, and like there was one of her notes, like it was like normal notes, and then just one in the middle of everything else that had like 4 ledger lines down, and she like wrote in her music, what W-U-T, what what is this?
Yeah.
Why is this in my music? Like,
I have a violist I play with all the time that literally the W-U-T spelling of what is like, I associate that with her and like her writing in her parts.
So funny. If you want a good time though, find translations of what Eric Satie wrote in his music to describe how you should play his music.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It is so funny because it makes no sense. It's because WC told him that he needed to be more, was it WC or Rachmaninoff? Someone told him that he needed to be more like descriptive so that people could play his music better. And it's things like sitting on a cat or a boy playing with a log. Like it is entertainment. It's
so good.
It's great.
It's so good. And like if you've had just enough French when you encounter that the first time, then you're just like, wait, what? Am I getting this wrong?
No, it's
no,
so
you're
funny.
not actually.
I love a good comedian, composer, orchestrator. Like
it's my favorite. I grew up on like Victor Borges sketches too, so like I am just all about it. I in the music and media class that I took over for Julianne, one of the things that we were going to be talking about, I let them vote on like what the last week is going to be. They chose TV musicals. And I was really interested in, because we're doing a week on musical theater adaptations into film, which is kind of a different beast. But when there is a musical episode of a TV show that is not normally an episode, like not normally a musical, like So Crazy Ex-Girlfriend aside, although they are also using it for comedic purposes, but they're doing interesting things with like the joke about, oh, we're breaking into song right now. Isn't that weird? And I love the like the metacognition about the moment that's happening there.
It's great.
Yes.
But like musical humor, I took a horror and humor and music seminar in my master's degree, and it was so much fun because this woman, Lily Hirsch, actually, she has written on prisoner orchestras in concentration camps, heavy, but also has a book out on Weird Al, and like she really sees a lot of interesting connections between some of the silliest moments in music and some of these like intense, like personal, deep moments in music as well. And she did such a good job like presenting both sides of that to us in a way that just made, musical expression just feel limitless. And I love the idea of like exploring things that are just deeply silly with my students and getting to do that with them. So like we're gonna look at the Community musical, we're gonna look at the Buffy musical, all kind of the Scrubs. I love the Scrubs musical, so that's like in there. So
there has to be silliness. Because if there's no
Speaking of silliness, I have to
point?
acknowledge this comment in the chat, and if we already have had this conversation, I missed it, and I want to have a moment with it anyway. Jordan,
yeah.
You're the best. And in chat, he writes, the sexualization in this game is extra distracting because, and to be clear, this is not really the game's fault. Some of the world's worst people have adopted this as a cause célèbre. Like, finally, our woke national nightmare is over. Games can be horny again. So when there's a moment of fan service, I'm like, buddy, I do not want those particular fans served. Aces,
I thought you meant
Jordan.
the Satie comment that just came up, also from Jordan. There's a Satie piece where at the beginning he writes, "If you ever read these instructions out loud to the audience, I will have my just revenge."
Yes, so good.
Yes,
and
also Sigma Beta and Mezzo Karatere in the chat. We miss you.
Did
we are wildly lucky to know you.
We're so glad to see you. We actually looked at Silent Street earlier, so. I actually did have a little transcription of it. It wasn't the whole thing, but a little bit of that one. But the comment about the like horniness reminds me, Ryan sent this to like our stream chat. It's an article on bloodknife.com, and it's called "Everyone is Beautiful and No One is Horny. Modern action
I actually
and
do
superhero
love this.
films
I'll stand by this.
fetishize the body even as they desexualize it." It is like one of the best media like articles I have read in a long time.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah, let me link it.
Email it to me, please.
It is so good, and it came up partially because Ryan and Sarah PC and I were traveling back from AMS together, and we got a hotel room in Wisconsin, and Sarah had never seen Dirty Dancing growing up, and we're like, oh my gosh, so we sat down and watched it. And then this conversation kind of started about that, like movies like being sexy, right? Like, and versus just having sex in them. It was, and then you found that, I don't know at what point you had found this article, but you sent it to us, and it was so good.
That article was originally written as a critique of mostly the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where you have all these like attractive bodies. And this is both the men and the women, to be clear. Like, in this context, Chris Evans is as attractive and sexualized. We consume his image on screen in the same way that we consume Scarlett Johansson's image on screen. It's not gendered, right?
Yeah.
But those characters don't ever actually have sex because representing that level of the body on screen is so taboo and bad now in the 2010s, 2020s. And in the 1980s, like, people forget this. There's a blowjob joke in Ghostbusters, for God's sakes. Sex was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not necessarily arguing that we need more sex, but it's a more honest representation where people who are not, like, demigod level attractive, you know what? Sex is a part of their lives too, right?
Yeah.
And you don't really see that in modern movies.
And how often in musicology have like the return to the body and embodiment? Like we've talked about like desire being almost taboo in music studies because it's so like anti-intellectualized, and so like people writing about like musical desire and sexuality in music were kind of vilified for a long time, and it took a while for that to even like enter our fold academically. I think there's a piece there too where
we're just
there's
uncomfortable
like,
talking about it in ways that we shouldn't be.
Intimacy and desire is actually the thing that people are uncomfortable with. Like the idea of like the like nakedness or the spectacle of the body is still fine and still gets used, but like the connection is like too vulnerable for people to want to encounter.
Well, and it's the same sort of conversation where, and this will be a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have now instructed over 1,000 people professionally as a college instructor, right? I did the math the other day, right? I'm over 1,000. And in my roughly 8 years at Michigan State and 4 years at Minnesota as a TA, just if you take any grouping of 1,000 people, have I ever had somebody in my classroom that I thought was physically attractive? Now, you'll never, ever hear me name that person or specifics about it, but in the aggregate, over the course of teaching 1,000 people, yes, I've taught a pretty person before. I've taught ugly people before, frankly. You'll also never hear me name their ugliness about it. But I have instructed a student who worked full-time as a bikini swimsuit model. And she was very open about that being her summer job. She was excited to tell everybody that she had gotten a modeling gig. Guess what? Spoilers, that person was attractive. And it's not that you can't ever encounter any passing moment sense of, oh, I might think this person is better looking than the average person, or this person has an attraction. It's what you do with that information that makes it weird, right? And so you can't tell a student they're attractive. That's horrifying. Right? Yeah. You also can't tell a student they're ugly. Also horrifying.
Turns out.
But
like, let's
the
just not
idea that
comment
you
on
don't
their,
have
like,
a
their looks at all.
bodily, you don't have any reaction at all to seeing somebody across a room would be to lie and omit information.
Right, because attraction is completely natural, right? You don't get to decide attraction. Attraction just happens. It's a natural thing. The reason why, like if we can name why you as a professor can't tell a student about whatever attraction they do or don't have, is because of the power dynamic that's inherent between you as professor and them as students. And there cannot be any consent within that power dynamic.
Right. And they're also...
You would impose it upon them. And that's what's inappropriate about it.
But even about reading the room, independent of a power dynamic, there are times that the women in my life want to hear something nice about their physical appearance. And there's also times they don't. Right?
Sure.
And you must learn to read the room on that front.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with probably like going to like film and how like sex versus sexy, probably one of my favorite scenes in a movie that kind of deals with that is from the movie The Island. Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I've seen it.
It's when the two leads, Scarlett Johansson and I can't remember.
I was just trying, I knew it was Scarlett Johansson. Ewan McGregor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor are the leads, and they have never been in a place where physical intimacy was allowed. And they didn't even know what it was per se because of their former environment that they were in. But they had relational intimacy, even though they weren't supposed to have that, but they had built that with each other where they trusted each other and they knew each other and they wanted to be with each other and they didn't know why, right? And in the film, it's called proximity. Like, you need to follow the rules of proximity. And they're like, I know the rules of proximity, you know? And then they get outside of that environment. And then there's a scene where they discover what sex is. And it's so well done because it doesn't flaunt. It's not like overly graphic in any way, shape, or form. But it is very good at communicating this is good because this is an experience that we are both choosing to have. And like one of them is like, I think at one point Ewan McGregor's character is like, why haven't we ever done this before? And she's like, shut up and open your mouth again, like for them to kiss. Like, it's so funny because it's so real. Like, that is more realistic than like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, them having like breakup sex in their house when they decide that they love each other still. Right? Like, just that kind of realism. And that's something that you don't get tangibly in media very often. And not in video games either, where it's like, this is just something that is a reality for a lot of people because they choose for it to be their reality. like with or without attraction. And so when you have a game like Stellar Blade, that attraction is so forefront of the eyes, but it is not what the game is about.
Right.
Yeah, there's been a lot of interesting conversations about like female pop stars like Sabrina Carpenter, and in which ways is she pandering to a male gaze versus subverting a female a male gaze, or like Lady Gaga has been doing this forever.
Sure. Madonna was before her, and
right, exactly. We have a
Marilyn
long
Monroe
history.
before her, and yeah.
Long history of these folks sort of like playing with it, but also there's been some interesting theorizing about like what does a female gaze look like, and how does that, especially when we're talking about film and TV, like how does that shape how the exact same sequence might be filmed differently? And
fascinating.
Yeah, I should find the article. I'll send it along if I find it. But I had read about this like years ago when I was doing some work on something else. But it was what introduced me to Outlander, because one of their examples, not unequivocally, but like as a potential, like this has some possibility to be something more akin to like what again, this is hetero, but like a hetero female gaze might be like in this instance. And it was the wedding scene in like the first or second episode. It's pretty early, right? Where like she has to get married to Jamie. And it's all about like their awkwardness, and their like they don't really have like intimacy yet. They haven't really built a relationship. They kind of get married almost at first sight for her protection. And then the episode is like showing you sort of the like very beginnings of letting the guard down. And so it's like that framing around everything, in addition to like, of course, like different camera angles maybe get chosen, that sort of frame the action differently, right? But it was more like the narrative framing around that moment that like introduced you to, they're just like laughing because they hit heads or something. It's like they haven't learned each other in a way where that is second nature. And like how interesting that is, because we don't see that almost ever. So yeah, this article is like kind of similar in that way that yeah, we've had work on this happening in musicology, but it's interesting that like it took so long for stuff on the body and desire and breathing and all of that to like enter back in, because so long we'd had this like Cartesian mind-body duality separation, that there was a belief that things had to be very intellectual and like, oh, look at how complex this score is, and how the harmony is so sophisticated and how it's put together, and like there wasn't space for like erotics and breathing and body to be brought into performance, and all of these things started coming like knocking down the door, and it's been for the better. It's like enriched the field as a whole.
In
but
game
for
studies,
so long we only lived in the one side.
In game studies, I have students argue about two characters because I don't think there's a right answer, and I like it when my students argue and have opinions, because that usually means I'm doing my job. And one of the characters I have them argue about is, how do we feel about Bayonetta as a character? Right? There's absolutely a reading where she is presented as an idealized female figure for men to consume. There's also a separate reading where that character has a unique amount of agency about her appearance relative to the frame. And she has been reclaimed in a lot of queer community circles in gaming as like this camp sexual representation icon, because of the agency and approach to her relationship to the camera in that game. Where
interesting.
She is always posing for the camera, right? And we have to understand that fictionalized characters only have so much agency because a team of writers wrote them, right? But Bayonetta never feels trapped by a male character in those games. That's not how that character is written and developed and presented to you. And the other character we argue about a lot, and purposely don't settle on an answer because there is no right answer, right? Is I have the students compare and contrast advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons of pre-Crystal Dynamics Square Enix Lara Croft and modern Lara Croft. Because it's very easy to say, look at how wildly ridiculous her polygonal boobs were on the PlayStation, and say the newer character is better. And from a visual presentation aesthetics perspective only, that largely does hold true, right? Modern Lara Croft looks like a real person. An idealized real person that probably has a job acting on the CW, but a real person nonetheless.
Sure.
And older Lara Croft could not physically stand, right? That's how physics works.
Right. It's the Barbie
Right.
thing.
But
like,
there's also the older version of Lara Croft isn't a student, has a lot of agency in getting in and out of the trouble in which she finds herself in those Tomb Raider games.
Mm-hmm.
Modern Lara Croft is a student who does what the men in her life tell her to do by and large at the starts of most of those games. And there's a way in which that level of representation is in some ways more problematic than she has an over-idealized figure.
That's interesting.
It's like what Dana was saying earlier, like how it's a fun play that in Stellar Blade, Adam is the sidekick.
Right.
The main character is Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
Yeah.
just how and we didn't get there yet, but then they get to Zion, and Zion is the community where people are able to be safe from the Natibas, and they're trying to build a place where people can convene. And Eve then goes and helps everyone to be able to find safety through finding the truth. But the truth that she finds is something that nobody wants.
That's what I was wondering about the plot, and I don't mind being spoiled here, but I do want to warn that we're probably going to ask a spoilery question now. Is, of course, they're all androids, right? Your body frame has been damaged, right? It's a Ghost in the Shell adjacent, near future, far future science fiction aesthetic. Is there, like, the mission is what matters was the key emotional phrase for the first third of the game, right? Whose mission is deciding, like, who's overseeing who makes those types of choices? Because I'm not under the impression it's my avatar right now.
Right.
No,
right?
It's not you.
And
so, yeah, there's this huge spoiler.
I want to know about the relationship between who gets to make those decisions for all these idealized lady figures, right? And what that relationship looks like.
The physical representation of the person you only see at the very, 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 very end of the game, like the closing scene.
Yeah.
And the physical representation of them is a small, like, girl child that probably looks like they're between 10 and 13 years old.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting at all, actually.
And she is their mother, is that type, computer code type mother. And she wants the Elder Natiba destroyed. And you learn that the Natiba, so all of these creatures that you are killing,
yes,
are the ones who were actually human. You thought you were human, but these were the humans that through the war became creatures, and their humanity was destroyed. And so the Elder Natiba is the one trying to restore humanity. Now you don't know this until like towards the end, right?
Right.
Natiba is trying to restore humanity, and like, do you want me to like super spoil the whole game? Because I can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't mind actually.
So super spoiling the whole game.
I'm not spoiler averse at all.
Adam is the Elder Natiba, and he needs Eve to help restore humanity because she's the one who has the strength of body and like basically essentially power code to receive him and what he is as the Elder Natiba to become what is needed to restore the world. So like you at the end get to choose, are you going to support Adam in that, and therefore he sacrifices himself and you become the Elder Natiba to be able to bring both worlds together, or do you refuse and you kill him?
Right.
That's
interesting.
So it's so wonderful because it's this world in which you feel like you are the embodiment of humanity, right? Like you are a human. Like, yes, you're an android. Like, yes, you have mechanical features, but you guys are the humans. These are the monsters. But in reality, you were the monsters who exterminated the humans and turned them into something monstrous. And how do we have justice for that?
Yeah.
And so it's a game about what is justice when you find out that your reality is not what you thought it was. And like through the game, like as you're learning these stories that tell this truth, there's a lot of denial that happens. There's a lot of denial that happens, and the musical moments for that are so gorgeous.
It's a really cool score from what I've listened.
It's so beautiful. My favorite track from this score is Taki's theme, like her big theme. That is like Eve's voice, like throughout the whole game, is the more breathy, like more low voice. Taki's voice in her theme is like so, like it's belting and it's loud and it's beautiful and it's high and it's soaring, but it's not solo front of it's like still behind the orchestration, and it's just a really cool representation of what a voice is, especially knowing Taki dies in the beginning, but then the Naytiba who took her ends up like fusing with her, and she's a boss later, and you have to re-kill her in order to save her memories.
Sure.
Wow.
And it's like really hard thing for Eve to do, but then you unlock Taki mode, which is like superpower mode that you can be invulnerable for a short period of time, and like you basically turn into Taki. Hey kitty, it's a fluffy kitty.
She decided to walk on my MIDI keyboard, so we're gonna hold you instead.
Of course.
Getting into trouble.
So Taki, who's this character who's a leader, she's the leader of, she trained Eve. She led them into battle. She sacrificed herself for Eve, but her voice is hidden behind the orchestration. Like the mixing of it is like, cool. It can't be forward because of her situation. And yet it is the music that happens when you are empowered to not be hurt for a period of time. And like, anyways, it's just, there's so many.
The orchestra's really... like your shield.
Yes.
That's so cool.
And so throughout the story, you're learning truths that nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to hear these truths, because what does it mean if I'm not human and I'm killing these humans? Right? Like,
right. And it challenges this notion of like beauty is good, right?
Like you are these perfect looking characters, like the idealized body form, but it's fake. It's not real. You are not actually what is real. You are a computer program.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then,
but you learn that over time, and it's not made very clear until towards the very, very end, when the people around Eve don't want to believe it, and Eve is like, I don't like it, but I can't deny the truth that I found. The question now is, what am I going to do about that truth?
Yeah. In the chat here quickly, Jordan asks,
Jordan has a really good question
is
here.
There, if you restore the world at the end, is there a sense that the humans will eventually return to looking like people, or are you just meant to embrace the monstrous nature of what humanity is now?
That's a really good question. There's not a satisfying answer to that.
Ooh, like you don't really know?
Well, the end of the game, so like if you choose to save humanity and become one with Adam and the Naytiba, which, by the way, just go look up the character art for Eve as the Naytiba, because it is so gorgeous. It's so absolutely gorgeous. But it's so cool. But if you choose to do that, like when you leave, your goal is to find a way to bring justice and like rebirth, essentially, what the world is. So you're not necessarily taking the ones that were broken and reforming them. You're trying to like create a new world. But there's not really a clear path or like narrative path as to what that would look like or how you would do that. But you leave the space, and then Mother comes down in the form of this little girl and says that she's disappointed in you. And then those cool whale ships that we saw at the very beginning of the game with all of the pods with the warriors in it come down and surround you, and you fight them, and you're basically now trying to exterminate this virus, essentially, that has been trying to destroy humanity that now you're protecting. And that's how the game ends.
That's so cool.
So, like, up to interpretation. How do you want it to end?
Yeah.
Some of the
I have
best
mixed
stories,
feelings
like, you
about
don't
that
know.
type of
Love a little
agency,
ambiguity.
not for the character, but for the player.
Yes.
One of the few complaints I have heard and seen, and this has been a complaint from a couple folks who are in the chat, though I won't out you right now. But in my greater friend circles, is Claire Obscure is really fantastic until they don't want to write one ending and make you deal with it instead.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's
And
the
either
hard thing
ending,
about
I've been
Claire-
told by a bunch of different people, could be written out extremely well. It's taking away the responsibility of writing something satisfying for Mael's decision and how she arrives to it, is what is annoying for these folks. Not that either ending is preferred.
The thing that was hard for me, Claire Obscure, gorgeous game. Absolutely love it. So beautiful. The idea about what it means to put your soul into art and how that impacts you and how that impacts the people around you and how there are healthy ways to do it and unhealthy ways to do it. This is all true in real life. And the way that they visually represented that and told that narratively and through music blows me away every time. The thing that was hard about the ending is that it definitely felt like the developers thought there was the best answer. And that if you didn't choose that answer, then you were wrong, is like definitely how it felt. And it's like, well, if you as the developers didn't want to explore if I disagreed with you, then you shouldn't have given me the choice.
Yeah.
Right.
You should have just made it the game, that the game does this.
Yeah.
But the fact that you give me a choice and then told me I was wrong for making that choice, that is, it can feel like a betrayal. The agency
After a lot of time
I've been
invested.
given.
And we've covered the game in full on stream, so I feel very comfortable saying the moment we're talking about is the final 3 seconds of the cutscene of the Mael ending, where it's like it jumps to a very dissonant chord and a stark camera cut to a dying version of her that clearly makes it feel like not just a different choice, but Karina's absolutely right, the wrong choice in that moment. And if you would excise those 3.5 seconds, and truly that's all it is, from that ending,
And like honestly,
I think it'd be satisfying.
Keep the same music that's done incredibly well, and either just keep it on Verso or just go to a black screen. You don't need to show me what happened to Mael. You can let me decide what does that chord mean, because it could mean so many different things without that visual representation.
Yeah, that's true too.
And the ambiguity is so powerful.
And I do also think it's fair to have Verso as he appears in that ending not want to play, but be made to anyway. That's a challenge you have to accept, right?
I did like that part. I liked that because it wasn't Verso's choice.
Right.
It was Mael's choice. And I thought that was very accurate.
Yeah, I feel like it's absolutely fair to show the
that.
pain of removing agency from somebody.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will say the idea of like the fade to black and like letting us determine what that chord means reminds me a lot of, I go to this well a lot, so like don't roll your eyes at me, everybody, but Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics is like one of my favorite books, and I'm always applying it to like other things, but he has a section where he talks about if you have a sequence where somebody is like no, don't axe murder me, and then the next panel is just a cityscape with a scream like over it. He was saying like what happens in that gutter is so psychologically significant versus obviously you could depict like somebody hitting someone with an axe and like actually doing the violence, but he's like, if you kill a man between panels, you're condemning him to thousands of deaths because like you, the reader, are now the one that actually like determined
you
how
have to
that
fill
happened.
in the gaps.
Yeah, you commit the psychological closure that makes that happen. And so like that's actually a lot more narratively interesting and like so much visual media like doesn't rely on that as many places as they could for really cool results. They want to just show everything.
Jordan, Dana would love to talk to you about
Oh my
understanding
God, I love
comics
that.
sometime.
I talk about it all the time.
Yes,
all the
she does.
time.
So something that I think is really interesting about that is that when, like, we can talk about the Marvel movies, for instance, right? And this isn't a dig against Marvel or superhero movies, but just part of the genre is that the directors and creators don't trust the audience.
Yeah, by and large, I agree
And
with
we
that.
feel
They
that
don't.
too.
They're like, they have to spell it out exactly what it is all the time, because if they leave anything up to debate, they don't trust the audience to be able to infer or make decisions or to disagree, like, because we can disagree, right? That should be disagreement. There's an amazing quote. I'm not going to remember who said it. And I really apologize for that. But there's an amazing quote that I heard when I was in high school that has always stuck with me, which is one of the greatest privileges of art is the ability to disagree about it. And I think that that's really true. Like, people can love one ending more than the other in Stellar Blade or in Clair Obscur. Some people might think that there is a right and a wrong. We can disagree about that. The thing that's hard is when the people who created the choice don't trust the audience to be able to live with that disagreement or with the ability to have a different choice, because that creates a level of vulnerability that just is it's uncomfortable, especially when you can't control it. And as a creator, you want to control it. But really what you're doing when you're creating something and putting it out into the world is you are now letting other people to decide what to do with that information. And so it makes me think of an example of someone who does trust the audience is if you think about the first season of the Witcher TV series, they trusted their audience to be able to not know everything and to still have a good experience and to engage with what was being presented to them.
And it could work on any level. It could work on I've read the books and played the games, or I only have played The Witcher 3 because that's the one that's good, that like maybe I've most encountered, right? Or I don't know any of this, but I think Henry Cavill's hot, right? Like that could be your entire thing going in, and they worked with it at any level of sort of familiarity. Whereas, like, I don't know to what extent, and because I am somebody who grew up with FF7, but like the remake, right? Like, there's so much in that game that is trading on the player's memory. And that's not a bad thing either. That's like they do cool things with that resource, right? But it's very different when, The Witcher was like kind of okay with however you come to this. Like, you're still going to get an interesting experience, maybe. When it's now been like adapted twice, essentially.
Well, and like when you have the film
this is your first
Advent
experience
Children,
of it. Yeah.
Advent Children, right? Like that is a film. Now, part of it is the art style of what Final Fantasy is and Japanese art and different things like that. But a big part of that is that you don't have all the information, and you're not supposed to have all the information. So the question becomes, what do you, as a consumer, as an audience member, as a participant in the art, what do you do with the information that you don't have? And I feel there are too many creators now who are unwilling to give that as an option. They have to give you all the information, and it muddies the potential of what their art could mean to impact someone, right? When I think about some of the greatest films or video games that I have ever played that made a lasting soul impact on me, it's visceral, right? Like you feel it in your body. I am now changed because of how this game decided to present itself and allow me to engage with it in the uncertainty and in the nuance. It's things that left things unspoken that I don't know enough about. Right. Or
very much
something...
like the if you love something, let it go. But really, you should there has to be a point in which you're like, I have created something really interesting that stands on its own, but that vulnerability of people are going to connect to this and it's going to resonate and it's going to have effects that I can't even predict. And could be really powerful. But you're sort of like cutting off your nose to spite your face when you're like, no, like, I'm not willing to give up that control because like I'm very attached to this thing I created. Like it's like,
and that's one of the
so
ironies
close,
about
right?
Claire Obscure for me personally is the fact that the whole game is about being able to do that, but then in the end, the developers were unable to do that for their players. Like,
that's interesting. It's a good
and
critique.
I don't fault them for it, and I don't think that it undermines or takes away any of the wonder that that game is able to provide and the amazing beauty and the accomplishments that they have. Like, I don't think that undermines any of it, but it does make me just a little sad.
It makes you wonder, like, the alternate reality where they did let that go a little more,
like,
or
what if you
take the
chose
bigger
to let
swing.
go of your own art and let me choose as a player? What if you just let me choose and let me decide? Because that's one thing that I really do appreciate about Stellar Blade is that if you choose to kill Adam, it doesn't feel wrong. It's just a different ending. And it's just presented in a way. And then there's a third ending where, like, if you are there's another person that joins your team. Her name is Lily, and she is so cute. Oh my goodness, so cute. But she helps you, and she's like the one who doesn't want to believe this truth. And Adam is like, no, like, this is something that I like. Here's the last power core. Please take it to Zion. Please save the people, because this is what matters to me. This is why I'm doing this. And then depending on if you progressed a certain amount of knowledge in the game or not, in one of the endings, Lily can either survive or she dies to sacrifice for Eve, because she's in this mech suit that's really cool and you have to fight it as part of it, and like either she's able to get the codes to get out of it because it like is on lockdown, or she doesn't and you have to kill her. So like there's just so many like, it really embraces what humanity is, which is just everybody knowing different things and not knowing more things than what they know. Like, collectively, we know a lot of things, but we also don't know more things than we know collectively. It's a weird thing to think about, but and it kind of like ties into other things that we've talked about, how important it is to just believe what people know and to believe what people experience and to honor that experience that they have. And so I really appreciate when creators make something that also respects my ability to do that. And in film, in a book, in a video game, in music, I feel like K-pop Demon Hunters actually did a really good job of that, where they had their message that they shared, but the way that they created the music to tell the story can be applied to so many people in so many different situations. That, I mean, this is the beauty of what we create in art, is how much it can touch somebody's life.
My unpopular take on this is I'm a huge defender of the plot, not the soundtrack, the plot of Chrono Cross. Because you never get to find out in a satisfactory way what exactly happened to the main core cast of maybe the most beloved game of all time. And I love that they say, that's not important to the story we're telling. Sorry you want to know so badly. We're doing other stuff.
We're doing other stuff.
Because it represents a level of writing bravery to do that that I don't feel would ever be done today. You'd have the exact event spelled out and be horribly lame and bad, and like
you get some cutscene.
It'd be unsatisfying. Right?
Well, I was gonna say, how many of us are in music? Those of us that turned it into a career, how many of us did that? Because on some level, we recognized musical connection being something a lot more like intimate, vulnerable, deeper than any other form of relationship that we had. And so when something like this like just doesn't want to take that leap, it's disappointing, but it's like such a limitation of like the power of it to actually connect, right? It's not
Right.
going to land if they aren't willing to like send it off that jump, right?
Well, and also to let things not always sound beautiful.
Yeah.
Because things don't always sound beautiful. That's why I love that like pounded like arm on the black keys chord at the very, very end of Clair Obscur, because it doesn't have to be beautiful. It's the score is so incredibly beautiful, but there are like it was allowed to be ugly because there were bound to be ugly things about the story. I just didn't like that they used that to make me feel like I was wrong about what I chose.
Yeah.
You know, the like message behind it, but it's allowed to not be beautiful. Like I can tell you exactly when I decided that I wanted to be a composer, when I wanted to start composing. And it was when I was 7 years old. And now I had been playing the piano for a number of years already. And I had obviously seen Beauty and the Beast multiple times because it came out when I was much younger than 7 years old. But I was listening. My mom had gotten me the CD of the soundtrack for Beauty and the Beast, and I was listening, and it's the score, the back score track for when the Beast is fighting the wolves after Belle like runs away from the castle, and the Beast is fighting the wolves, and like she's beating them with
Getting
sticks,
hurt.
and then he comes out and like does it. Yeah, and he gets hurt. That back score, there's a part in it where the entire orchestra drops out and is not playing, and all it is 4 French horns blasting this like super gnarly chord, like such dissonance against each other, and just like bam bam,
Just leaning
bam,
into it.
and then the timpani comes in, and then the flutes come sweeping in, and the strings come sweeping in, and then you have the dun 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 dun. But those 3 chords, I was like, I want to be able to do that. And it's not the most beautiful part. It's like actually a very ugly part, like in quotes, right? Ugly part, because all it is dissonance. It doesn't sound beautiful,
right?
But it creates such a powerful moment of story and character and connection. And I was like, if music can do that, I want to be able to do that. And so when we cheat ourselves from having those connections, it just does such a disservice to, I mean, ourselves and our art and what we're capable of, but also to what people are asking for, like what people want.
People want that depth, and that's why it's almost more infuriating when it comes so close and then it doesn't deliver. Then there's like a lack of trust at the very last minute. So yeah, I think that's ultimately such a good description of when you feel kind of betrayed by something. It's like you want to take that leap. You want to connect. You want to lean on the side of like building trust gradually. And in a video game, you have a long time to build that trust with the player, right? And then to sort of feel like, oh, it was close, but
a great example of it done well, I think, is It Takes Two. So couch co-op, amazing game.
Oh, rats! Dana was faster with her fingers than I was. I was all excited.
Oh yeah, we almost never have to ban spam in our chat.
So somebody asked what the name of that piece again was, Karina, with the 3 chords.
Yeah, do you know the name of the actual cue, or?
I don't. I just.
It's in Beauty and the Beast when the Beast is fighting the wolves. I'm sure you can find the clip.
Yeah. It's the scene when Beast is fighting the wolves after Belle ran away. This is in the OG 90s version.
Not the direct to VHS sequels.
Yeah.
No, but not the Emma Watson live action.
Right, Emma Watson live action. This is in.
To Dana, that's not even a real movie. We've had that conversation.
I don't even think about the live action Disney's.
You know what? I will say this like very quickly about it. That was the first film that Alan Menken was asked to rescore that he had scored. Like, and I think that has to be the coolest feeling, to be like, I made this and it was wonderful and I loved it. How can I remake it but still be mine and still be beautiful and still love it and still like be that story, but
And
also be something different. Like that would be such a
there's an
cool,
addition of
creative, like,
one
moment.
song in both Beauty and the Beast and live action Aladdin, and the one song that gets added to each of those films. I don't know that I can say it's the best song in the movie because it's up against some really strong, long-lasting songs. But the moment where Belle's father, Maurice, it's Kevin Kline in the film, sings to Belle, tinkering, is absolutely a newly wonderful moment in the film that absolutely transcends the original for a split second.
Yes, I think the opportunity to be given something of yours that you made and to try not to replace it and not necessarily to edit it, but to be like, what if we tried again?
Yeah. We've had so many good video games doing this lately too, because we had the Pixel remasters, we've had the Dragon Quest remasters, and that has been a big source of content, I guess, on this channel. Is we're very interested in what are they doing. I don't feel right content because of the nature of our stream, but that's been something we've all been really drawn to, is like, what are they doing with this moment? What are they doing with this opportunity?
It's so cool.
And is it connecting? Is it kind of like, taking, like, almost like scoring the way I remember it feeling, but in the modern day? There's moments where like some of these are hitting those and we're like, yes, this is it.
Yeah.
And then there are moments where we're like, they didn't take a big enough swing, in all of those games.
I think narratively is a big part of that too. Like, as an example, the movie Maleficent, as a remake of Sleeping Beauty, right? Phenomenal, in my opinion, phenomenally done, because it takes a story that's well known and it shows you a different side. And they chose, instead of doing a Snow White and the Huntsman, where they tried to do it exactly the same except edgy,
right?
Didn't go well. They were like, what if we just tried something new? And I think it's absolutely beautiful. Things I like, things I don't like, right? But as a concept of being able to take something that you've done and then done something new about it, like, that's what I feel remakes are missing, is the risk.
If they play it too safe and a little bit too much of just, this was just the same as the original, but now it's live action.
Right. How to Train Your Dragon.
It may as well not exist, right?
How to Train Your Dragon live action is almost word for word exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the point?
Over 80%. And I'm like, did the actors do a good job? Yes, they did a great job embodying the characters they were given. The costume designers, the set designers, the lighting, the music already is like absolutely glorious. One of my favorite movie scores of all time.
It can be skillful, but it doesn't mean that it's like reaching any kind of like artistic height,
it's like, watching the live action version of it does not do anything new for me that watching the original animated version couldn't do. It wouldn't matter either way which one I watched, because they're the same.
Yeah.
And so
and if I'm going to show it to my kid,
I'm going to show them the animated one.
I'm just going to show them the original. Like, if there's not a compelling reason for me to do the new one, why am I going to do it? What's the point?
So, and you can look at this the same, like, I think another thing that, so Beauty and the Beast film live action remake was the first film that Alan Menken was able to revisit in a film format, but he had already done that multiple times for stage plays, right? Creating a stage musical of what he had written with Beauty and the Beast, with The Hunchback of Notre Dame, with The Little Mermaid, right? These amazing things that those do have such a unique difference to them. They do take risks.
There's such good case studies in the nature of adaptation.
Yes. And I wish that film would actually learn those lessons that are right there for them to read. But going back to games that I think that did a good job of satisfying an ending with agency, but still like following their own narrative, was It Takes Two. Did either of you play It Takes Two?
I've played about 2/3 of it, and then we fell off of it because I became busy. And it was one of those very few games that I only played with Addie. And this is not me complaining about my wife, mind you, but it's very difficult to find time where the two of us both want to play video games together because we normally engage each other in just other ways.
Yeah.
And so that fell off of our radar, and we just went back to Diablo, which is our mainstay.
Sure, that's totally fair. Couch co-op is like the lifeblood of like John and I. Like, we love playing couch co-op. There's not enough good couch co-op for couples
absolutely
to play.
not.
There's not. It is a limited market. We need more of it. But It Takes Two, we actually took a while to play because of the narrative surrounding divorce in it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like, we in our personal relationship have very strict rules about what is and is not okay surrounding the discussion of divorce in our home and in how we talk with each other. It's just a choice that we made from the moment we got engaged. How divorce is just not an option. We don't make jokes about divorce. Like,
Right.
sleeping on the couch is not funny. That's not something that we ever like. It's just a very clear cut and dry. This is how topic is going to be managed in our relationship, which has worked really great for us. In April, it'll be our 15th wedding anniversary. So
Yay.
But so we were really nervous about that game because the whole game starts with the parents saying we're getting a divorce.
Right.
We were like, we don't know how much we want to engage in that. But then when we did it, like, I really appreciated how, first of all, it didn't wallow. It followed a realistic frustration that we had as players too, of like, just do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to do the thing. Why aren't you doing it? And the other person is like, I'm trying. It's just really hard. And you're like, it doesn't look that hard. It's like, no, it's hard. And like, you're both having this very different experience because of how they made the game work. They did the same thing with Split Fiction. Absolutely wonderfully done. But so you have that, but you also don't have the glossing of, oh, actually, it's fine now. Like, we just love each other now. It's fine. Like, it was neither of those things. Like, it really worked through the hard, why do we feel this way, in a way that was entertaining still. Like, but then at the end of the game, like, you don't just decide, oh, we're fine, we're going to get back together. Like, you don't actually know if they go through with the divorce or not.
Yeah.
Because they could. In one world, they could go through with the divorce, and it's just more amicable now because you're not hating each other. You're able to respect the things about each other. And like, as you're walking with your daughter back from the bus stop, the dad is like, did you know that your mom's like actually really awesome? Like, and there's things that they learned about each other that they were like, oh, I forgot this about you. So what are we going to do about it? Right. Again, it's that choice of like, I don't know what they're going to do with it now, but I know what I want them to do about it. And like, but that it's like, it's they're trusting you as a player to be like, you can handle this.
Yeah. They
You
don't
don't need
close
it
the
tied
door
up
on
in a
either interpretation. As kind of a silly, maybe final aside here, when Ryan and Addie hit 15 years, I'm always like looking up like the traditional and the modern anniversary gifts.
Oh, sure.
And for 15, it is the traditional gift is crystal, and the modern gift is watches. Like timepieces. And so I was like, you could celebrate both by watching The Dark Crystal together. And Ryan was like, absolutely not.
No,
Not like
I
an
need to
anniversary
figure out.
movie at all.
I need to figure out what
We love
18
the Dark
is.
Crystal in this house.
Well, there you go. That's how you celebrate 15. You watch The Dark Crystal, and then you're doing
watch The
both.
Dark
Yeah,
Crystal.
I need to figure out what
I will.
18 looks like. That's what's coming up for me in June.
Oh, that's fun.
Offhand, I don't remember. 18th wedding anniversary.
I'm hoping it's take your wife to Mackinac Island, because that's probably what's happening.
It's porcelain traditionally. The modern, actually traditional and modern porcelain.
I don't know
so
how to
there you
respond
go.
to that without making a toilet joke,
Your
or like
love,
getting a
but
new
18
bidet on the
years
first
in,
floor.
your love
Like,
is supposed to be elegant and refined like porcelain, refined on the outside, solid beneath the surface, and ideally kept out of reach of teenagers and clumsy guests.
Wow.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is
This
a
random
sentiment.
website.
I
That's
can
funny.
promise you my love life is in fact out of reach of teenagers and clumsy guests, Dana.
That's really funny. Well, because normally they'll have like the Victorians would have some flowery. Oh, because your relationship is like this
sure,
now.
Sure.
But having just read that out loud for the first time as I looked it up. That's
That's excellent. That's very
yeah,
funny.
that website.
That'll be among the
funny.
first things I tell Addie when she gets back from Germany on Monday.
Like, Dana looked it up. Here's the plan.
Right? No.
Something-
I will not
something
include the
puzzling.
words, here's the plan. Let's be clear.
Go make pottery together.
Oh, yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
You could do one of those like pottery
Karina, I do want to
classes.
thank you for sticking around
like
a whole
ghost
hour
style.
and change longer than we originally asked you to. You are
I
awesome.
mean, thanks for just talking with me. I love stuff like that.
Oh my God.
I
You
could keep
are welcome
going, but I
back
don't think I-
anytime. Anytime you want to come hang out with us, let us know. If you have a game that you want to just like geek out about.
Yeah, the next game we're probably going to do in full. Usually we'll do a 2-hour like tasting, if you will, and then we'll move on. The next game we probably will do in full, in part because Karen, who turns in a little earlier, she is the youngest child of us. Karen loves Dragon Quest and is making her way through the remastered HD 2D Erdrick trilogy. And I think we're going to all do Dragon Quest 2.
When she gets
2D
there,
HD when
yeah,
she
we're
gets
gonna
there.
do the whole thing.
Yeah,
So that's
it's one of the
probably gonna
few
be our
remakes
next.
that Dana has approved of, as we did 3 last year. And
3 is very special.
Dana's
to
a
me.
hard person to impress, frankly.
When it comes
though I
to,
do
like,
work very hard at
remakes,
it
yeah.
sometimes. And you were like mouth agape child
Yeah, I
for
loved it.
a good 2/3 of that entire experience, and I have a strong suspicion that you will do the same for DQ2.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So yeah,
It's
I don't know
The whole Chronicles of Narnia thing, right? Now Dragon Quest 3 is Dragon Quest 1, and Dragon Quest 1 is Dragon Quest 2, and Dragon Quest 2 is Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah.
'Cause they republished them with the intent that you play 3, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Very
It's cool.
explicitly on the box. They're like, don't play.
That's a good question. I
3
don't
first.
think Karen will be playing only because she has a hard time staying up till 11. Having
Right.
the tiny child.
I will probably
who gets her
play,
up
but it's not going to be
early.
gameplay exciting because the game is so much longer than it used to be. I'm probably going to turn on easy mode, can't die mode, and like do zero
We'll mostly look at
grinding
the
in the
music.
traditional JRPG sense, and we're just going to roll up to the
Sure.
bosses and hear the music and see the plot.
Yeah.
None of you
and Karen
want
wants
to watch
play
me
ahead a little
fight
bit.
100 slimes, right? You want to watch me do that once. We'll have a conversation. We'll move on.
Yeah. We can only do that style so often, and
That's
then we're
true.
all kind of like pulling our hair out. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know that we have an immediate plan for next week for the those of you that stuck around. Kudos.
Yeah, thanks, people in chat.
Yeah.
For
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone
your
in
questions
chat that
and
stuck
for
with us.
engaging. That was super fun. Ryan, so do you feel like Stellar Blade, like we started it with being like, is this a Souls-like? And then you're like, no, it's more like I'm just wondering
Devil
like
May
where you
Cry,
kind of
yeah.
land
I
on-
still
yeah.
feel it's closer to Devil May Cry because here's where the dividing line is for me, and I have an unpopular take on this maybe, is if I can just become good at controlling the character and win. It's not a Souls-like. A Souls-like
makes
for
sense.
me requires study of the enemy patterns more than it does focusing on how cool of a moveset I have.
It's almost
Because
like
most
learning
of the Souls-like
choreography,
games
right?
are not out. You
Yeah.
don't play a physically intimidating, impressive character most of the time. Like you're a capable warrior or whatever. But
Sure.
it's not about being awesome and flashy in the way that both Dante and Bayonetta are like extreme gender drag shows of
Yeah.
what empowerment means, right?
Or
And this game,
have you seen Sudeki?
in terms of the
Time.
representation, like, not to come everything back to the visuals, but this is absolutely participating in that extreme gender representation
Yeah.
presentation mode. And you do, in fact, because I was the one holding the controller tonight, you do become more and more awesome rapidly. And not just as a player, but you gain more and more abilities and more ability to influence the gameplay field in a way that just because you got a new axe in Elden Ring doesn't mean that all of a sudden you can quit thinking and like be awesome for a while.
Mhm.
Right? You have to just, the moment you think, I've got this, a Souls game will kick you in the teeth.
Yeah.
Right? And these games, Stellar Blade, there's a little bit of parrying, dodging going on there in the Monster Hunter Souls-like style, but it's closer to Clair Obscure, where if you watch for the motion and hit the button, based on what I played, concession here, I was on easy mode, I felt like I was able to learn in real time because I'm good at this, as opposed to I need to learn and practice my instrument to be good at this, which is how I
That
approach
makes
the
sense.
Souls games.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. And I'm inclined to agree. Well, thank you for playing one of my favorite games with me.
Thank
That
you
was
so much.
fun.
Yeah, it was
For
really fun to have you on
introducing
to
us to
discuss
it,
it. It was
'cause
really fun to just talk to
came
you
into this
generally because you're an
zero-
awesome human, Karina.
Yeah, this was
Thank
like
you.
I mean this we had talked about this back in October, and we've been
yeah.
like keeping it under our hat, and we kept telling people we're not going to tell you until right before. So like last week we're like, it's Karina Pardus.
I'm happy to come back anytime.
Oh
Awesome.
my gosh, please.
We were going to take
We
you up
love
on that
it.
in a few months for sure. For now,
Yeah.
I am very much looking forward to telling you how awesome you are in person in 2 weeks. I'm so excited.
Yay! I'm excited to
have
see
so
you
much
too.
fun. Take a picture. Get
We
get,
oh
like,
we for
Yeah,
sure
we'll
like a
definitely
good
do that.
meal
Of
and-
both
We'll
and
take a
show me
picture
a
on the
picture of
food
red
that.
and
carpet
each other.
in front of the Step and Repeat at the Gang Awards. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
when you hand us our gang awards.
I'm not
Shut
the
up, Dana.
one handing out the awards.
It's an honor
See,
to be
this
nominated.
is where
I know it's
NDAs
like the
do
cliche.
matter,
It's an
and they're
honor to be
good. I'm not
nominated.
allowed to say who won.
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
know
fine.
all the winners. I can't say anything. I'm
No,
not
please
supposed
don't. I don't
That's
want to
fine.
know.
No,
but
we're
it's
truly
gonna be
we're
a great
truly
show.
It
like,
actually is
it's
like
astonishing that we're even like
on
in
my
this category.
CV for
So
my
like
annual review for the year that I was
I don't even
nominated for
care.
this. It's actually a big deal for me.
Yeah,
So
I like-
It is like nominations are huge. Like, and you guys do such good work, and this is always such a fun time. So, thank you so much for letting me participate and including me in it. Like, it is. I mean, who am I to cut off good conversation? But at some point, we do need to stop.
yeah, no, I have to teach a 3-hour lab practicum exam in Wise of all things tomorrow morning, and I need to sleep so I can do it.
oh, you know,
But
sweet
we will be back
dreams.
next week, 2 weeks from now, because I'm at GDC. I don't think we're gonna have a stream unless Dana, you want to run something without me. I can slip
Maybe.
you the login credentials. Yeah.
I will say, the times that it's just been like no Ryan, we have gotten like weird dudes showing up and being like, "Look at the ladies streaming," like, and we're just
Oh,
like,
sure.
"Who are you?" It's like people that are
Sure.
never in our chat normally. We're like, "Why does this happen?" Because Ryan's not here to protect us.
That
so
makes it sound
maybe-
like I'm in charge of you, which anybody who has ever seen the two of us in the room together
No, it's
will
the
will
opposite.
absolutely assure that the opposite is in fact true.
It's
Ryan always
more
says
of
I
the
own his research
assumption
calendar.
of the stream of the people watching the stream who don't know what
Right.
they should
No, the
Right.
randos
In
that
some ways,
stumble
it's
in-
flattering because people assume I am very powerful, and that is just not the case.
No, the randos who stumble in.
You-
But yeah, maybe I can like organize a few guests and we can rock something, because I don't have anything going on the 12th that I know of. So
Okay. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
be in
we'll
touch
see.
about that.
we'll plan.
But for now, good night, everybody. We'll be back next
Good
week
night,
at our usual
everyone.
time. But good night for now. Thanks, team.
Bye.